Evening, everybody. Welcome to round 9, the Australian Grand Prix. As Thomas Riley very rightly put, it is the spiritual home of most of us here in OOR. Tom Riley, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, JC. How are you this evening? Evening chat?
I am absolutely on point tonight. It's been a cracker of a day here. About 31 degrees, had the sprinkler on the backyard, kids running around. Cracker. How about you up there in the AC of T?
It's actually pretty nice today. Bit of cloud cover, nice and cool for the day. Went and had breakfast this morning, it was lovely.
The weather on track seems to be reasonably clear as well. Looks like it's a little overcast, but certainly no rain on the horizon from what I can see. Not for qualifying anyway. This man, Tom Malone, goodness me, what a streak he is on. Chasing down Danny Wong and Brian Tan at the top of the table. He has made inroads in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, he certainly has. He's certainly fired up, and we'll be looking to have a good result here tonight. Of course, the sun setting in Melbourne in the game makes it difficult breaking into turn 1 and into turn 3, but certainly will be good to see a few shadows on track. Otherwise, I think it'll be a great night of racing.
Very picturesque. Absolutely love watching that. There's my office. See it up there? You can actually see my office on that track there. But
How good's that?
Lovely looking track. Ex-office, by the way. I actually just quit that job, so a little bit of a shame because they had a rooftop. So I was looking forward to the Australian Grand Prix next year, getting up on the roof at my office and having a look, but that won't be the case anymore. Moving into a different job, but yeah, beautiful looking track. The palm trees down there alongside Albert Park Lake. Iconic. If you think of Albert Park, you think of this circuit, you're probably thinking of those palm trees, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. The palm trees around on the inside of the circuit certainly make for a lovely looking track. Painted lines make it difficult in some conditions, but I certainly think this is one of the best tracks, and only going to be better this year in April when we go back in real life for a bit of racing. Well, of course, that sector
changes.
2, the changes. Yeah, sector 2 chicane gone, so it's going to be nice and quick all the way through turn 8, all the way through until the fast left-right chicane, and then opening up that third last corner, fourth last corner or so.
Doesn't happen to be turn 12, does it? Because our man Alex Bowen, he's in chat telling us there's going to be a lot of drama at turn 12 tonight. So obviously he does a lot of practice during the week with the boys. And speaking of drama,
and that's not what you want to do through there.
No, that's not going to do him any good in the downforce zones, Tom Malone. So he will be back in the pits rather quickly, trying to sort that out. But yeah, as I was saying, Alex obviously has a lot of time for the boys in practice and says that turn 12's caused a few issues this week. So interesting to keep an eye out on that tonight. Of course, we've got Tier 2 here at the moment, taking us away. And then we'll be, of course, followed up by Tier 1. Very excited to see how Tier 1 goes around here because, as you said, it's not really an overtaking track. So it's one of those where strategy will come into play and just keeping it on track, keeping it consistent, obviously not putting in the walls, making any mistakes will net you a good position. And qualifying, obviously, being very important too. So all eyes on Joel Barry here as he comes around those iconic palm trees as discussed. Currently Ryan Ing with a 22.9 leading the way, only very just in front of Adriel Sia. And Theodore Pham has also posted a time. That's another death there. So we've seen a couple already. Coma Cropper. Oh no, it was Norfolhermer. That's unfortunate. So our man we just saw spun around and he was facing the wrong way for too long, and Codemasters said, no, you can leave the session. Thanks. So he will start from the back of the grid. Unfortunate for Norfolk. You never like to see that.
So, of course, tonight is a 50% race. So half what a normal Grand Prix would be in distance, which I think from memory, 54 laps around here normally. Something around that, 54, 58 laps or something. So
somewhere around there.
In and around the mid-20s for lap time, per lap count. So hopefully we'll see Of course, last week we had the sprint round, or the super sprint round, whatever it is, which is 2 25% races. The second one being a reverse top 12. Reverse top 12, reverse top 10.
Reverse top 10, I think.
Reverse top 10. I'm thinking sprints too
You're
much.
thinking sprint series, which obviously returned to us earlier on last week. The ACC Sprint Series. Good to have that back. Goodness me, a lot of fun. Kicked off on Wednesday night with safety cars and rain and all sorts of things, and followed up pretty well, I might say, on Thursday night too by the blue and red splits. There goes another one. Danny loops it on the final turn. Watched closely by Adley, who did pretty well to avoid him, and then post a purple lap. Goodness me. So he would have been very happy that, I think it was Danny Wong, got out of his way with that spin, whether intentionally or not, so he was able to post that time. But yeah, that is a wingless Mock Risky. He's going to come into the pits. Brian Tan goes quickest. There's plenty of mistakes happening. I don't know whether the conditions, or I'm sure plenty of these guys have had practice, so it's proving pretty tricky at the moment.
Yeah, certainly from a bit of the listening I've done to some of the drivers chatting, been more around the fact that, you know, trying to get a lap in time trials, all good, you know, but it'll come down to the race, and those people who haven't done enough race runs, they'll start to suffer. Of course, it's a strangely high tyre wear track, so, and there's apparently a really solid undercut, so we might see a few strategies tonight play out. But it's 11 minutes to go here. Mohammed Irfan hasn't got a lap yet. Let's see where he puts himself. That wasn't a lap.
Right,
or an invalid. Either way.
We will see where he puts himself eventually in around about 1 minute and 20 seconds. I don't mind that call. We'll play on. Brian Tan, that's a pretty handy time from the man in the Red Bull. He's 4/10 clear of anyone else. So currently P2 in the standings. He'll be looking for a really good result tonight in the Red Bull. But as I said, Tom Malone closing in there in P3. And the man on screen, Mohammed Irfan, in P4, is also knocking around on the mark. So it's a very close championship this year in Tier 2. Loving it. Can still go either way. And the endurance round in Belgium, the last round of the season, sets it up. Absolute primo viewing that's going to be in 4 weeks' time.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll hopefully still have a championship to decide when we get there. It's so close this season as well in Tier 2. Even Tier 1's been crazy close, but we'll talk more about that later on. But Mohammed Irfan here, as we're still on board, comes up to this second to last corner. Really tight, quite slow, slowest corner on the track. Just run here, trying to hit the apex, keep the foot planted. And he does go fastest by almost over half a second faster. That's a statement and a half, I think. Bang. Jared Ellis just slots in behind. Still 4/10 down. So Mohammed Irfan there with an absolute banging lap. Here's Tom Malone. I think he's on a lap here. Tries to get the car hooked up. Use a little bit of that inside curb. Some drivers will, some drivers won't. Sticks it. Straight line. And he goes a 10th slower, so he's only just there.
Good lap from Tom Malone, but that's a banger, as you said, from Mohammed Irfan, up there in the 21s now, and well into the 21s. Alex will be very surprised if we see a 20 in this session from the Tier 2 guys. Does that mean to say we'll probably see some 20s in Tier 1? What sort of time are we looking at in Tier 1, Bowen? Give us the good word. What sort of pole time are you predicting tonight? Meanwhile, we'll follow Ryan around in this lovely red Ferrari. Probably the... Oh, no, never mind.
And that's death.
Yep. Sorry, Ryan.
He's lost the front wing, but at least he hasn't lost that front left tyre. So he'll get back around to the pits and chuck a new wing on and sit in there for a bit and then go back out a little bit later on. Another run. Here's Jia Eng here coming up through this second sector now. Cars are flat through here. Just different for a V8 supercar, of course, which have to lift through that section.
Never actually seen the
Steers.
supercars go around here except for on tally, but I've been to a few Grand Prix and seen them live, but I've never actually seen the V8 supercars go around here for some reason. I must have been doing something else.
It's a yeah, the last couple of years they've started doing it for points, so it's been an actual championship round, but before that it was just a cash prize. But normally they do 4 races across the weekend, 4 100-kilometre races, normally without a pit stop because of the conditions that they've got. And, you know, obviously they've got their own pit bays, but it's probably not wide enough for a full fast lane and pit stops.
Sort of like their own little super sprints then. I don't suppose they reverse them for the top 10 or something, do they?
No, they do 4 qualifying sessions. Normally they do 2 back-to-back, and then so Thursday will be practice, Friday will be 2 back-to-back qualifying sessions times 2. And then they'll go and they'll do, I think, a race on the Friday night, 2 on the Saturday and 1 on the Sunday before the race, the proper Formula 1 race. Alex saying in chat, his best lap is a 20.1, but most likely 20.5 might be pole tonight. So that's in tier 1 at least. We're on board with Daniel Wong here. He's got a banker in fairly slow, but must be good to see what he gets out of here. Hits all of his gears. Pull it across the line here. He goes P5. That's a good gain. Half a second slower than Mohammed Irfan. So it's nice and close. They're out that top 10. Over a second between them. Ryan here, as we saw before, he had a bit of a moment. But hopefully he'll be able to get himself moving back up the order. Mitchy Weston here. Comes through this.
Not a bad
third
time for
DRS
Easy so far, just quietly.
No, absolutely not. We sort of missed that one come up.
Making a good fist of it. So I don't know if he's a hot lap here, but he's already got a good time on the table. He's looking pretty sharp around here in that LP.
I think he's in the box. There we go. Tucking in.
And there's the other. Well, I say the other. There's maybe 3 or 4 of them. Those blue dots that travel around the track map confuse me all the time, trying to work out if it's an Alpine or a Williams or a Red Bull, or sometimes even the Aston Martins get me if my eyes aren't looking properly. But cruising along nicely here is Jared Ellis in the Williams. Currently 2/10 up in the first sector alone, so that's a very good start to his lap. We'll stick with him because he's certainly got the champ by the bit at the moment. Looking pretty tidy. Obviously hugging the inside there, and it's a very important set of corners here because you can very easily get them wrong. You can invalidate. It costs you a lot of pace down here if you get them wrong, but it looked like it was pretty tidy again through there. We'll see sector time come up shortly.
He's on it here. It's 3.5 tenths up through the second sector. On his personal best, so...
Using all the track, using the curves beautifully, tucked it in nicely there, kept it in second, got good traction. This is looking like a pretty good lap from Jared.
Absolutely, it looks pretty faultless.
Let's see where it puts him. Bang! P1 and by 4/10 almost. That's a great lap from Jared Ellis. Very, very close to banging in a 20 with a 1:21.07. So hats off to you, Jared. That's a great lap. Alex Bowen making the call that he won't see any 120s. He's just about right at the moment, but we've still got 4 minutes to go, and these tier 2 boys are hungry. Looking very sharp, some of them.
I reckon this is the lap we stay on board with here. Mohammed Irfan, he's going to try and beat Jared Ellis. Coming up through this car park section. He's flat through there. He is flat through that turn 6 kink. The braking zone here. It's a 10th up. So this could be good enough. Pole, we'll have to wait and see. Gets the car stopped into this soon-to-be defunct section.
That chicane back there is basically going to be a full-speed sort of sweeping.
Yep.
No brakes. It's going to be flat, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be flat all the way up until this chicane.
That's going to be insane coming into this chicane. It's just going to be all sorts of fun. Goodness me.
Car turned in, uses a little bit of the exit curb. Really easy on some of these exit curbs with the AstroTurf to just lose the rear. Keeps it in second, uses a lot more of that inside curve than what we've seen, and goes a little bit wider. His car tucked in nicely, uses the exit. Here we go. What's this? It's a 20.
It's a 20.
20.9. Half a second faster than his last lap. And he's up over a 10th on Jared Ellis. That's a banging lap as well.
And these tier 2 boys are out here throwing punches. Absolutely loving this.
Here we go, Tom Malone here. Gets turn 1 absolutely perfectly. Got the DRS open. Gets almost to 310 k's an hour on the run into turn 2, turn 3 through this car park section. Here's turn 6. He's flat as well. Uses nicely the curve. Gets a little bit of oversteer on that AstroTurf, as I said before.
Did improve in the first sector, but maybe not by as much as he would have liked. Coming up to a little bit of traffic here. Hopefully Danny gets out of the way nicely. Not sure if that would have compromised his lap a little bit there, obviously with the decreased downforce behind other cars. We'll see when the next sector comes up what's happened to his middle sector. As I said, he was just under a 10th up in the first sector, and he needs to make up at least 6 to get to pole, so a fair bit of work to do. Looked like a pretty conservative sort of last sector. He's not using the curbs, he's not quite using all the tracks, so I don't know whether he pulled out of it to maybe go for another one here.
I think he probably has, because he's got his battery back up to 90%. So, yeah, 2.5 seconds slower. So he's going to have to go again. Going to use a fair bit of the tyres going through, you know, half a lap or so. Especially through some of the more demanding sectors. Through first and second sector. Certainly a lot more turning in those areas than there is in the last little bit.
So this will be it.
Flat through turn 6.
This is all he's got time for, is Thomas Malone. As we said, currently P3 in the standings, but with a couple of very nice weeks in the last month. Has really shot up the standings. Again, that first sector has been an improvement, but maybe not by as much as he'd like. There's no traffic coming around this section now, so he will be foot to the floor. So it's trickier than it looks, this left-right. Nearly 2/10 up. It's going to have to be a banging last sector if he's going to challenge Muhammad, I think.
There's all the entry there.
As you said, Tom, the tyres are starting to squeal a little bit now, so be happy to consolidate P3. It's not a terrible spot to start from, especially with obviously Danny and Brian back there in P6 and P7 at the moment, his main championship contenders. So he does improve up to P2. I tell you what, wowee, what a final sector. I reckon he's made up almost 4 or 5 tenths in that last sector. Unless the Delta was lying to us halfway through that lap, he had 5 tenths to go in the last sector. He's absolutely smashed that last sector, I reckon. Goodness me, look how close he came. Is that a 20 as well? No, not quite.
No,
it's
just
0.0000007.
Mitchie Weston here. He's going to try and beat Tom Malone. He's going to try and jump up the standings a fair bit. Turn in for this section. Use all the exit. Nice and close to the wall. Just get out of his way. Gassed up on his Delta, half a tenth. Needs to be a banger last sector as well. Yes, Brian Tan can manage his P4. 5 tenths off. So Mitchie Weston here, he'll be looking for probably at least 3 tenths. Again on that second row of the grid. Gets the car turned in nicely. See where this puts him. Just improves on his own time up to P5. It's unfortunate for him, and I think risky. He's probably on an in lap. We saw him be overtaken on Mitchie Weston's lap. Gerald Chew here. I think he. Not sure if he's on a lap or not.
Not anymore.
Absolutely not. So I think that'll do us tonight for qualifying for Tier 2. Muhammad Irfan on pole, with a 20.9.
Hello.
Cena
into the
20.
20s.
Tom Malone there, just under 600 slower. So that'll be a nice little battle between Irfan and Tom Malone at the start of this race. Jared Ellis, Brian Tan, Mitchy Weston, Ali Hussein, Daniel Wong, Adriel Sia, Declan Hollingshed, and Mosh Risky. That's the top 10.
The return of the Hollingshed. Deckers and I have a little bit of a giggle about that one sometimes because it is Hollingshead in P9. And I think you have called him Hollingshed for a little while now.
Probably have.
So we have a little bit of a giggle at that one.
Oh, lovely. Lovely.
Good. No, we love it. Butchering names is my forte, so I'm glad to have someone to share that. We've got Mohammed Irfan and Tom Malone and Jared Ellis at the top 3, as you called it. We will return in around about 3 minutes while these guys get their setups and whatnot in order. Stick with us. Bang, and we're back. These Tier 2 boys, they don't mess about. No toilet breaks in there, I don't think. They've just gone ready. Those green ticks have shown up, and we are ready to go. Just waiting for a few players to get onto the grid. Oh,
we're off.
We're on lap 2, and everyone's away. Hang on a second. There's something issue there. Not sure if that's going to be a lobby restart. There's a penalty coming out for Momo immediately. I reckon that's a restart. Goodness me, that looked pretty odd. It's not even any lights. They just went bang.
What's going on back here? Even if it isn't a restart, this is willing.
Yeah, whoever wins this race, this one lap race here, gets a free pineapple pizza on me. So, Momo, you can get as many penalties as you want for corner cutting as long as you come first.
Here we go, we've got a VSC. So I think we're going to stick on with it. I'm not sure.
It's
Oi, yeah, no.
What?
I think yep, there we go. It's a server restart.
Nice work, Mohammed. P1, mate. Put that in the book. Take it home to the family. Keep that trophy. That is legit. We all saw it. Gonna have to whip down the bottle low, grab some more champagne because we're gonna rerun that one. So we'll be right back. Yeah, well, it looks like we're ready to go again for take 2 of Tier 2. Obviously, with a few little technical gremlins there. Thanks, Codemasters. Not sure what happened there. Could have been anything, to be honest, but players jump start or something's happened, so we've had to restart the grid, which takes a little bit of time because we've got to manually set up where everyone qualified. Just waiting for a few more ticks and whatnot, and we'll get this one underway.
What do you reckon, JC? Are we going to see safety car lap 1?
Yeah. You know what? It's Tier 2, actually. So every time we have these sorts of bets, I say these are quality drivers in Tier 1, and I have absolutely butchered every one of them. So I'm going to say no safety car lap 1 because Tier 2 seems to be a lot safer than Tier 1. But ask me again in Tier 1, and I will say there will be 3 safety cars total, and yeah, probably will be 1 in lap 1. But nah, not here for Tier 2. I reckon they'll get away cleanly. Define safety car, actually, because now I'm sort of trying to think there might be a virtual safety car. Maybe someone just sort of slips off track and loses a bit of front wing or something, a little bit of debris. There might be a VSC, but not a full safety car. Your thoughts?
I reckon VSC might be the go. I reckon VSC will probably be what will happen.
Are you sure you don't want to consider another option?
I'm not listening to you, JC.
No, I'm glad we agree. I do think, and Alex is in chat saying VSC is likely. He also agrees, and he's a very knowledgeable gentleman, so you can almost put your house on it at that rate. Won't be seeing rain for Tier 2, so there'll be a lot of happy campers in that pit lane. 3 safety cars this race from the man. So he's pretty good. He hammers in some very good predictions most times. We'll see how that goes.
It is a bold call, but what do I know? JC, what do I know?
I'm right with you, Diabols. I've got my support Haas hat on tonight. I'd love to see a good result for you guys. Languishing down there at the bottom of the constructors table, unfortunately, and we don't like to see that. So let's get a good result on the table for Haas tonight. And I'll tell you who else I've got my hat on for is bloody Aaron Heather. I'd love to see him finish the race tonight in Tier 1. Tried to get him over the line last week. He had a couple of little Jim's lawn mowing escapades, and he just couldn't quite get it open in 2 races last week. So on a slippery track here at Albert Park, he's going to need all the support he can get, and he's got my support. I'm his number 1 fan, Aaron Heather.
Either way.
Not racing tonight. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, well, he's not going to DNF. There you go. That'll do. Anyway, take us away, Tom. 5 red lights. Show me
3, 4, 5 red lights. Holding for a while. We're away. F1 gets a really good start, it looks like. Start to spread out. We've only probably got 3, maybe 4 wide up into turn 1. F1's got the good jump. Tom Malone will hold P2. Adley Hussein's up the inside. There's the exit. There's someone wide. There's 2 cars wide.
There's a couple wide,
back.
yeah.
Oh, I don't know what to do.
It's all good. Carry on.
Tell you goes for the move.
Tier 2.
Around the outside here.
Clean as a whistle, Tier 2. Love that. Muhammad is shot out the gate.
Absolutely gapping. Jared Ellis and Tom Malone are battling. Tom Malone's fallen off the back. Adley Hussein's going to challenge him.
Cars are full of fuel. We've just been doing qualifying, so no way near as quick. They're also in the tow of other cars and all that dirty air, so conditions going to be pretty tricky for these first couple of laps especially, until those tyres really come up to temp. And then later on, when they start to shed a bit of fuel, get some fresh tyres, we'll see some red hot racing then. For now, it's going to be a bit of attrition. As I said, Tier 2, very clean racing from these boys. They've made it all the way through lap 1 without incident at all. No VSCs, no safety cars. As they come around the final sector, we've all been proven wrong. Very nice from you, Tier 2. Love to see it. Clean as a doorknob. Well said, Chasley. That's exactly... Wait. Clean as a doorknob? Look, it was clean. I'll pay that. Not about a doorknob. Why are doorknobs clean? Explain that one. Yeah, that's a new one. Haven't heard that.
Not sure. I would have thought doorknobs would be some of the dirtiest places with all the hands that touch them. Either way.
Yep.
Wherever that job race in the pits. Oh no, Jared Ellis.
Hold the brakes. Oh, never mind. Oh my God, what? It's taken off and we're off to Tullamarine. That's where the airport is and that's where those cars are off to. Jared Ellis is out, so that's unfortunate because he spun it. I don't think he DNF'd after his original spin, but he's now DNF'd because someone, I'm not sure who it was, planted themselves in his side pod. So we have 2 DNFs on lap 2 of Tier 2. That is a full safety car. Tom Riley, your thoughts on the space program?
Are we in the US with Space Force? I don't know.
Goodness me.
By the way, that was a little bit messy. Be good to be able to live replay, to be honest. But thanks. Thank you very much, Codemasters. Here we go. Muhammad F1, he's in the bits. So he's going to stop out the way. Tom Malone's going to stay out. Who else is going to box?
3 DNFs now, so I'm not sure who else was. I know who it was. It was Ryan. He's DNF'd later on, so I don't know what's happened there because we only had 2 DNFs originally. man of the moment, Jared Ellis, is in chat. He's very disappointed and rightly so. The yellow flags not necessarily being ignored, but maybe not being adhered to as strictly as they could have been. And yeah, pretty disappointing. Unlucky, Jared. Pace was there, mate. So they all line up behind the Aston Martin safety car. And we'll see a couple of laps here. Joel Barry is well behind this pack, so we'll have to wait for him to catch up.
Fun going the hard, so that's an interesting call. Given he was leading the race, thought he might have stayed out, but everyone else behind him deciding that's not the strategy. Going for the hard, so he's probably just going to go play the long game here, hope for another safety car, maybe get another free pit stop further on.
Right into Tom Malone's hands, our championship contender. He's up there in front of Adley, and he's got Adley between his rivals, Danny and Brian. So he'll be he'll be happy being up there in clear air. He'll enjoy that.
Yeah, one more lap under safety car looks like. So that'll give time for Job A to catch up. Of course, whilst we're on a safety car, maybe we'll discuss the Haas livery on the new car. Of course, not the real car. They've stated that it's not the car they're going to race, but an earlier version render. But what are your thoughts, JC? Have you seen the car?
No, I haven't seen it yet. Tell me about it.
It looks exactly the same as last year's. It looks like a render that they did when F1 announced the 2022 spec cars. Looks like the renders that they released, exactly the same.
Was that a bit of a ploy to not give away any secrets or what? Or, I mean, the livery wouldn't give away anything, would it? So, no, they're just going to roll out with that one again, I guess. And, I mean, they've still got Nikita driving for them, so...
It's still the Russian flag.
I guess that's what that's all about. Really some money changing hands.
No, we won't speculate on the Russian government. Wouldn't be our place.
It's not even speculation at this point, is it, really? Tell you what, I wouldn't want to be in the Russian government right now with all that crap going on in Ukraine, but that's a story for another time. We are probably coming in this lap, aren't we not, safety car? And we will get underway again with our field reduced to 15 after a very eventful lap 2. All of us losing 6 milks apiece with no VSCs or safety cars on lap 1. But there's still some milk on the table. There's a couple have said that there'll be 3 safety cars total in Tier 2. And that's a good start. Number 1 on lap 2.
A good 6-pack of milk on it. All we want to see.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
Big wheels, and yeah, it's exactly the same, isn't it? Not a lot of difference in the appearance.
The front view is really nice, though. I do have to say, front on.
Yeah, I think they look pretty spicy. I agree. Yeah.
The simplified front wings look very nice. Either way, Tom Malone's going to lead us here. When does he go? He's going to hold it in third, and he goes now. He just goes after the exit of that corner where you'd normally put the power down. Hold it just a little bit. He's going to go start weaving up the straight. Uses the battery. Adley's there with him. So it's a fairly clean start.
Adley's right there with him. He's done very well on that start.
Got a yellow flag in sector 1. That's Jia Eng, who's stopped on track. Might have just lost it under acceleration there.
Looked like he had all his wing
end plate.
I thought it was all there. Maybe I was wrong.
Maybe a bit of an end plate missing. We'll have to wait and see. Might be something missing on that off that front wing. He's already lost a second in the space of 3 corners, almost 2 seconds now. I reckon he might be missing a bit of front wing, a bit of overheated tyres as well. So he's just got to pull them down. He needs to get back to the pits, Malone's just opened that gap ever so slightly over Adley Hussein in that McLaren. Gotta say, 6 different manufacturers in the top 6. That's a great performance from everyone so far.
Equal performance is one thing that Codemasters got right, giving everyone a chance to get around in equal machinery. Love that. Tell you what, there's plenty of green position changes there, obviously with a couple of DNFs. Oh, that's another DNF. That is another DNF.
Theodore fam.
That'll probably be a safety car. There's number 2. Goodness me, 3 might be a little bit shy. Wowee. Theodore unfortunately coming unstuck at the last turn. And very quickly they will gather up again. And we'll go around with another safety car. Tell you what, 3 might be a little bit short. We're going to see death all night. Because Tier 2 is usually pretty calculated, pretty spot on. So I know it's a slippery track, and we did get warning from Alex and Diabols and a few others that it's going to be a tricky night. But that's it is mildly surprising to me that we've got 4 DNFs from Tier 2 within... We haven't even completed 6 laps, so very, very interesting. The Aston Martin will wait for the field to come around. This is Momo getting a free pit stop after his earlier spin. So he'll be loving life. He'll enjoy the chance to catch back up. He's on nice fresh tyres. He'll go all the way to the end on those.
I wonder if we're going to see anyone box here. You'd think they'd have to now. After this first. Let's see, Tom Malone coming around to the second last corner. Is he going to box? Stays left. So is anyone going to box behind him? Adley Hussein stays around. Daniel Wong, Brian Tan. So everyone stayed out. Gerald Chu's the first to box out of that group. He's going to drop back down the field, but he'll be on the hard tyres as well. Should come out in front of Jia Eng.
Theodore has joined us in chat. Unlucky, my friend. Just couldn't get it right on the last turn, and that's another DNF. Unfortunate for you, mate. It's like a little graveyard here in chat with all our DNFs just popping in to say hello.
Gerald Chu has gone the mediums. So that's an interesting call.
Well, he's banking on another safety car. He reckons he'll get the pace out of these mediums, and then with a safety car 10 laps to go, jump on some fresh softs, he's going to bang it in. That's not a bad call at the rate we're going.
I'm assuming everyone else is trying to go the soft medium strat here. Didn't really hear much about what the whether it was whether the hards were actually any good for a race tyre or not, but I have to see with how well Mohammed Irfan goes. He's already up 1 spot, so that's a pretty good result.
They probably are pretty reasonable. It's usually those high deg tracks where the hards are reasonable. So I reckon this might be a good tyre. I don't know, I haven't been around the paddock this week, so I'm not sure what the strat would be. But you know,
Alex Bone in chat saying hards are pretty average. Would you say that's pretty average in general, or are they better than the hards have been at other tracks? What we were hearing at Austria last week was that the hards is a garbage race tyre.
Make that in chat as well, saying soft hard will be the play. So there's a couple of differing opinions. Who knows who's racing as well? Let us know what happened in the Eggs Benny Classic tonight. He knows his way around a Formula 1 car as well. So as I said, a couple of differing opinions. We're going to go for one more lap here with the safety car leading the way. Momo has pulled up to the back of the field. Loving life now. Everyone doing the squiggles, trying to get temperature into those tyres, especially the hard runners. They will be bone cold at this point, so they'll be doing all the squiggles. Malone Still leading the way. Enjoying that clean air. Adli Hussain putting in some good performances since rejoining the competition mid-season. Currently up in P2. Danny Wong, our current championship leader in P3. And Brian Tan also up there in the top echelons in P4.
Interesting to see how Tom Malone goes with this restart. The last one, Adley went with him and stuck with him, so he didn't really gain too much from it. In terms of a nice bolt with the safety car restart. Not sure if there's temperature in the grass, Momo.
That's what I thought. I thought I saw that. I looked away for a second. I come back and he's on the grass. I thought, goodness me, is that... Maybe I just imagined it, but no, you saw it too.
Using all the track, but I would have thought the grass would be pretty loose, I would have thought. Either way.
He's still going, play on. Part of the plan.
4 people have stopped. Irfan, Barry, Chu and Eng. Chu is probably the weirdest runner on the mediums. Here we go. Tom Malone is stuck with the safety car here, so he's followed the safety car pretty much all the way in. Hasn't gone yet. Goes now. He's gone on the exit of the last corner. I wonder whether Adley is stuck with me. He sort of has, but it's only the 3/10 or so, so Tom Malone could just drive it nice and straight through turn 1 and 2. Doesn't have to defend too much. Bit of action going on back here with Brian Tan and Mitchy Weston. Goes outside, goes inside. Can't quite get the nose up there far enough. Brian Tan manages to hold that place.
Good driving from both of them there. Respectful, gave each other room. Wheezy couldn't quite get the move done, but ambitious on the first lap after a safety car. Nothing wrong with that. So fresh batteries here, cold tyres. Let's go tier 2. Let's keep it together for a couple of laps and get into a rhythm. Oh, that's a bit of a crossover there from the Red Bull. Like Brian Tan getting all sorts of messy. He will drop a few positions, but kept it together. Very nice save. So he slots in behind Adriel Sear. Very quick in his own right. Has recently joined our ACC Rookie Series, doing nicely there. Adriel Sear, the man of the moment, going around the outside. Gets a little bit shoulder heavy with the Mitchell Wheezy driven Alpine there, but they carry on. Nothing wrong with a bit of elbows out. Good racing. Back on board with Brian Tan around the last corner. So we have made it a clean lap. We're on to lap 10 now in this round 9 tier 2 race, coming live from Australia. Both in commentary. Go ahead, tell me about it.
The top 3 have absolutely gapped Mitchy Weston, so they're already outside DRS, and we've got a yellow flag in sector 1.
Adli Hussain from P2, he has dropped right back. He hasn't DNF'd. And
He's still got all of his front wing.
He has fried egg his rear tyres, I'll give you that.
Oh, and that's Adriel Sear. He's had a bit of a moment. Joel Barry gets a penalty for track limits.
Oh, okay. I thought that was going to be more than it was.
Oh,
right.
so did I.
Each other. Yep.
So did I. So we're still racing. Tom Malone, though, he has got the godsend of a gap now. We're already outside of DRS range. He's using his battery to try and get away. Important thing for him now, though, is to save those tyres. Try and get as much running off those softs as he can. I was just about to say that Gerald Chew on those mediums, he dropped back outside DRS and he has again now. So I wonder if he's just trying to conserve his mediums for a bit. You'd think he would have been closer up with the amount of running he's done. We've got a couple of cars into pits here. Mitchy Weston dives in. So maybe he's going to try the undercut. He's probably going to come out. You'd think that Adli Hussain and Adriel Sear both box now. Adli does. I don't think the Sear has, so... Oh no, Sear has pitted. So Mitchy West will come out in front of them, so he won't have too much traffic to deal with. It'll just be about now just getting on with it, trying to get some good laps in. Trying to look after his tyres.
And a great restart from Tom Malone and Danny and Brian as well. So those three, top three in the standings and now top three in this race as well. Shows you the quality of those drivers. It's not just about being one lap fast, but being able to be consistent, very important. So Tom Malone controlled that safety car restart very nicely. Felt a little bit of pressure from Adley after both restarts. As you said, Adley stayed with him. But he's now got a 1.6 second gap. He is outside of DRS to Danny Wong, so really enjoying life up the front there in the clear air.
Pretty competitive DRS train here as well between Deckers all the way down to Mohammed Irfan. Momo's just outside that range at the moment, so who's that boxing? That's Daniel Wong is in, so is Deckers. So they're going to try and cover off the undercut from Mitchy West, and Daniel Wong's probably the only likely one to cover that off.
So what they're trying to do is undercut Tom Malone, who's on 11 lap old soft, so this is around about where we're going to see these pit stops come in. So I'll be interested to see where Danny comes out on his medium tyres in comparison to Tom and Brian, who are more than likely going to come in this lap.
Oh, they've come out miles out of Mitchy Weston. Maybe he had to change the front wing or something, but he's the other end of the straight pretty much. So just couldn't get those tyres fired up enough to be able to make an impact on the undercut, but those mediums will be challenging in Tom Malone's mind now.
Tell you what else Danny Wong's done is he's come out in a massive gap. He's got all sorts of space to warm up his tyres and do what he needs to do for this undercut to work. So very interested to see how that goes. We're on board with Northall now, who, if you remember, was disqualified from qualifying.
Deckers has had a moment.
He's carrying on with Holding Shed, but he is definitely missing some. No. He's got all his wing.
I think he's got all his wing. I think he might have just had a moment at turn 6. This is willing though. This battle here for P5, P4, P5.
Oh no! Oh no! We've seen contact.
Is a Northall Hermer.
So I was just complimenting the man who didn't qualify because he was disqualified by Codemasters. He had made up a stack of positions, but he's now gone around.
So he's still got all of his front wing though. Daniel Wonga goes through. So Tom Malone, Mohammed Hammam, Joel Barry, they've all boxed. Tom Malone is on to the mediums as well. We're going to have to wait and see where Daniel Wong comes out. Tom Malone comes out ahead of him. Pretty much covered that gap off, but Daniel Wong will have the speed with those one lap older mediums. They've got some temperature in them.
Yeah, he's spot on. His tyres are warm, so can he close that 2/10 gap and bring himself within DRS of Tom Malone? So even though he didn't undercut him for position, he has certainly closed within DRS. So
that's around that stage. You'll see that's not ideal on his new hards.
No, now he's back into the pits again. Oh no. Unlucky Adriel. We are seeing all sorts of trouble from Tier 2 tonight, which, as I said before, is rare. Tier 2 are usually really consistent, so I'm so keen to see what happens in Tier 1, because it's such a spicy tier, so many fast drivers always getting their elbows out. Throw in this very slippery, it seems, track with its unpredictable curves. Tier 1 is going to be all sorts of spice.
I'll tell you what, Brian Tan didn't box. He stayed out. That's a bold call, I would say, to still be out there.
Hey, what Mohammed Irfan's doing pretty well on those 11 lap old hards. He's going to go all the way to the end, and he's only 6 seconds behind Brian. So
it's a bit of safety car strap for you.
He's done very well with that strategy early on with the safety cars. Travis Murdoch also doing very well for himself just quietly in the Haas. Diabolds will be very happy with that. Up there in P3 at the moment on 13 lap old mediums. Not sure if he'll have to make one more stop. Those mediums will be screaming by the time we get to the end of the race if he doesn't.
Well, I think Murdoch started on the mediums because he was out from the top 10.
He's currently lap 13. Yes. Yep,
yeah, so he's probably... It's going to be tight because he would have had all the fuel load on the medium, so probably has used a lot more of the meat out of them, and he's not going to be able to run as long to that soft tyre. But it'll be bloody quick on the soft tyre all the same. At least Sane picks up a 3-second penalty there as well for track limits. Brian Tan's in, so here's the moment where we see what's the gap. Mohammed Irfan takes the lead. That's Travis Murdoch. We were just plugging him, and he's spun at the last corner.
Oh, Diabols is somewhere punching the walls right now. I tell you what, he's kept it on track. He's carrying on, but he's doing so well for himself. Tom Malone bangs in a fastest lap. Oh, he's just kept it going straight there, Travis. I thought he was going around on the grass, but he's done it again.
Brian Tan's popped himself out into P. It'll effective P3, I would think, in behind Daniel Wong. But let me just see. I think Mohammed Irfan and Momo are probably, the longer they stay out on those hards, the better their life becomes. And Tom Malone just has to dive through this traffic here, get right up onto the back of them, put some pressure on those mediums, make the most out of them now. But he's got to remember to keep those tyres towards the end. Those hards will last, especially on Momo's car, but I have to wait and see what happens there. Deckers is just holding on to P9 at the moment from Mitchy Weston. Yeah, Deckers also has to look after his tyres as well. Doesn't want to get to the cliff and fall off with a couple laps to go, because Mitchy Weston will just drive straight past him on those really durable hards.
Yeah, there'll be plenty of tyre management going on. As you said, it's a very high deg track, so a lot of people concerned about their tyres. A couple of penalties for track limits coming through now. We saw Joel Barry get his a couple of laps ago. Adley's picked a few up. Muhammad gets his now. So we'll see that come into play as well as Gerald.
That is a car not facing the right way.
We'll have to wait for a few to go past. It is causing all sorts of... He's missing some end plate. I don't know if he's going to come straight in the pits.
Oh, Travis Murdoch gets 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane as well.
Bad to worse for the Haas driver. I don't know whether Ben went and jumped on his phone for 2 seconds, but it's all gone wrong for the Haas drivers.
Who's that? Who's around? That's Brian Tan.
Oh!
He's had a moment as well.
He's come out on his new... He went 14 laps or something on those softs, and now he's jumped on some mediums and goes right round. So it's amazing what happens when you haven't got temperature in those tyres. We saw it after the safety cars. People just really struggling to keep it together. Once the tyres are warm, it looks like we're doing okay, but when those tyres are fresh, all sorts of people having all sorts of trouble.
Octane got some damage or something, because he just let those two through.
Maybe just cooked tyres, I guess. Didn't really want to fight for position on tyres that he knew just weren't there. Maybe thought it was the better call to just let them go and try and stay within DRS, but not sure. Look at the position changes. It is a Christmas tree. There's all sorts of things happening in this race.
Momo up 9. He's sort of holding that gap to Ahmed Irfan. Tom Malone doing the same as well. Currently sitting around 5 seconds, so Tom Malone will be hoping for a safety car to really close that gap, because Mohammed Irfan's just going to keep driving forwards. I think he's staying there just maybe a little bit wide. Gives Travis Murdoch the invitation. Looking for the top 10 result for Haas. There's no Ferraris running at the moment after Ryan crashed out. Travis Murdoch tries to just stick the nose up the inside. He's going to try the crisscross. Has to just come out of the throttle a bit. He's going to have DRS. Hadley goes defensive.
Thinks better of it, but he'll get DRS again here.
Travis Murdoch is going to try and do 13 laps, 14 laps on a set of softs. Saw Brian Tan do it earlier.
Adley makes him go around the outside. Good positioning. Travis does so, but couldn't quite get the grip on the outside of the track there and tucks back in behind Adley, so good driving from Adley. But Travis is putting all sorts of pressure on him. In fact,
look at the exit he got.
What happened there? I don't know whether Adley made a mistake there somewhere, but Travis just walked past him, so that's great driving.
There are cheers on the soft as well, so everyone's stopped now, it looks like. Maybe someone stopped twice. Mitchy West is still looking to battle with Deckers. I think these two need to work together, get up to Hamam, put some pressure on him.
Spoke before about Tom Malone trying to close that gap. He's just posted the fastest lap. He's done a 25.0, so he's on a mission, trying to reel in those hard runners at the front. Danny Wong,
He has made a gain of almost 2 seconds. Enger's dropped off the back by 1.5, so fine, he's just quicker than Momo, only just, but Tom Malone really has a battle on now. Mitchy Weston tries to look around the outside. Can't keep the car up there quite enough.
Yep, we saw that same move last lap with Travis and Adley, so clearly the outside is not the ideal overtaking position, so good defence again there from Deckers as well. Just blocking his car on the inside and making him go around the outside. Not quite getting it done, Wheezy. But unlike Adley, Deckers manages to hold position through the first and into the second sector, so good driving from both of them.
Weezy's absolutely kept his batteries in really good stead here. He's got 90-odd% compared to Decker's 40. Bit of DRS, both using the juice. Decker's really nice fair racing, just leaves enough room on the outside if Mitchy wants to dive up there. Outside, I should say. Momo just keeps...
A couple of Tier 1 boys popping into chat now. Zachary Smith's in there. Nathan Monks, welcome boys. Good luck tonight. Looking forward to seeing your race because this one has been full of action. And Tier 1 usually gives us more action than Tier 2, so can't wait to see what happens with you blokes. Good to see you.
I was just going to say that...
Gets the inside now. He had to go around the outside last time, but this time straight down the inside.
Deckers holds it.
Deckers did very well there, but they're still side by side. This is not a corner to go side by side through. Oh, he forces Deckers pretty wide, but probably fair enough. He left him enough room there, and Mitchell gets it done. Nice work from Wheezy. Oh, and then picks up a penalty straight away, which Deckers doesn't have. So provisionally, Deckers actually still holds position there in that battle, but Mitch Weston does hold track position now after that move. We are really starting to see the track limits come through now. Plenty of threes, and Adley with 6. And of course, Gerald with his 5 seconds for, I want to say speeding in the pits, but I thought that was Adriel who's now served his, so there might be something else.
I think there might be 2 there for 5-second penalties for speeding in pit lane.
Yeah, spot on. Travis has one as well. Yeah, nice spotted.
So we saw Travis get it. We're on board with him right as he crossed the entry line. Tom Malone's right on the back of Momo here. So Momo has started to fall off. Over there, far and a fair way. You can see on the track map down the bottom.
Oh, that's
Gerald. That's Gerald Chew running very wide on those softs. Doesn't want to do that too much. Here we go. Here's the battle for P2 here. So it's hards versus mediums. Soon the crossover point, you'd think, for the hards versus medium will come. Brian Tanbank's in the fast lap of the race, 24.4.
That's very quick. That is 6/10 quicker than the previous best, so he's got those tyres going. Here we go, Tom Malone down the inside. Mediums versus hard, as you said, and he's gone well wide. What's happened?
That has to be contact.
That must have been contact, yeah.
G-Gang has absolutely drilled the left rear quarter of that Mercedes, and Tom Malone has gone from bad to worse. No front wing at all.
So the stewards will be having a red hot look at that one during the week because, yeah, clear contact there. Cars are up alongside.
Oh, you would have thought that Tom Malone got clear at the apex. Either way, we race on. Tom Malone probably losing. That's Gerald Chew. That's a death.
Another one. Here comes the third safety car. Get your milks ready. Fire up the fridge. That car is dead in the middle of the track. Surely that is a safety car. We're not seeing it yet. Codemasters are making us wait for it. They're holding it. Holding it. It's not a safety car. You can't be serious. That is a dead car in the middle of the track. Surely, Thomas Riley, that is a safety car. It's not. Play on.
You're kidding.
No milk. The milk stays.
You know who's going to be
Wowee.
absolutely pissed at that is Tom Malone. If he had got a safety car there, he was
Yeah.
on fresh softs.
Yep.
The fastest runner, I would think, on those soft tyres at the moment. And he would have been scything through that field. He's going to gain the safety car as well. He would have gained a couple of positions with some penalties. So it's good battling here, though, between Joel Barry and Momo. Momo on those softs just gets a crazy good exit. Tom Malone, he'll be angry now. He's got 3 seconds.
Yeah, he'll be spitting.
Are we going to go?
Oh.
Yeah, we're not going to go side by side here. Momo decides to just give that
Well, that was a cut from Momo.
place back. He's in the DRS though. He's got the softs. He can brake later. Good defending from Joel Barry, but you can't defend a crisscross like that. Momo thinks better of it. He knows he's got the tyres. Look at that.
Oh!
Around the outside.
What a battle! And he's got him.
That's a great move.
Excellent driving from Momo. Well played. Joel Barry giving him the space, very respectful, but goodness me, he got the drive out of turn 12 or 13, I think it was, and just made it work through the last sector. So great driving. As we watch Wheezy go around the outside of, probably a lap car, I think, I would suggest. No, never mind. I think he actually just passed Muhammad on track. Muhammad was P3, so that's a bit of team orders there, surely, because he made that look very easy around the outside, did Wheezy. But Muhammad, as well spotted by Alex in chat, is having a cracking race. He's up 11 positions currently in P4.
There you go. Tom Malone started his drive through the field here.
He'll be seeing red. He will be seeing red. He'll put in some laps here, that's for sure.
Couldn't be surprised if we see the fast lap of the race here either from Tom Malone. First lap out on those fresh softs. Jones just can't quite get the exit. Challenge Joel Barry up into the fast left right.
A couple of very thirsty members of chat not getting their milk after what was an incredible non-safety car. We've seen some weird ones, but that was unreal. As spotted by Nathan, not even a virtual safety car. Just nothing. No. We'll have a yellow for a couple of seconds, and then we will play on. I wonder if it had something to do with proximity of the other cars. It didn't look like any other cars passed on track.
Look at that, 23.9 for Tom Malone. He was
You called it.
half a second faster than Momo on that last lap.
Our man Thomas Malone is on a mission now. Look at him go. That is a purple lap by a long, long way.
Half a tenth faster.
He's got 6 laps to go. How much can he recover? He's all over the back of Momo right now. We've already seen made some classy moves tonight. Oh, and he goes faster. Back. He's on softs as well.
That's half a second faster as well.
Oh, Tom getting pretty squeezed to the outside of the track there by Momo, who gets his elbows right out.
Of course, these two had the incident before that put Tom Malone out. He'll be seeing red. He's got to keep you cool, though.
He'll be seeing crimson now. Goodness me, he'll want to get him down here. Just didn't quite get the exit as Momo pulls away there, but he's got the DRS. He's going to use all this battery to get this done. Hopefully get it all finished by the time he gets down there. He does. Goes a little wide on exit, but gets it done. So
makes the move stick. That's
moves
important.
On through, and he'll be happy to see the end of Momo, because goodness me, these two have had a tussle tonight. So now he's got a 5.5 second gap up to Muhammad Haman, who's on very old well, not very old mediums, but there is a significant tyre difference there. So we wait to see what happens. But Muhammad Afan, who at the start of the race, using the first safety car to pit, went onto the hard tyres, and at the time we questioned it. But isn't he making it work up there in P1 where he qualified? Having an absolute ripper of a race with that strategy that he's pulled out on the first safety car. So looking very nice for him with 5 laps to go. Coming around now to make it 4. Travis Murdoch, unfortunately, having a pretty good race up there in P3 at one stage, but got himself unstuck with that tricky rear end, the ass coming around on him. Following Adli Hussain at the moment, who's also had a few dramas tonight, after also being pretty well up there in the positions. I think he was P2 at one point. This track has brought a lot of people unstuck tonight. There's been some really good performances, but there's been some pretty unfortunate spins and trips. Adley grabs himself another pen. He is racking them up now. He's pushing the limits of the track. I think he's up to 12 now. 9. Okay, so yeah, definitely the most out there.
Tom Malone.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think Tom Malone might have just pulled out 3 seconds on Muhammad Hamam that last lap alone. He's absolutely flying at the moment. His boy 24 flat. So he's absolutely going for it here. He needs all that pace. He doesn't have much battery though, so he needs to be careful on that.
He's going to be within DRS by the end of this lap. He is flying.
Without a doubt.
And then he'll use that DRS to maybe conserve some battery, and then it's only another 1.8 seconds to his teammate Deckers. And Deckers is a very generous fellow, so I reckon there'll be some team orders there. And that will put him up behind, well, into P4. I don't think he's making a 30-second gap to Wheezy, but P4, considering the circumstances, wouldn't be a bad shout. But our championship leader, Danny Wong, up there in P2, will lengthen the gap if it stays as it is. Never writing anything into the Tier 2 book in pen, because anything can happen, as we've seen. But I'm penciling in Danny Wong for a bit of an extension there as he goes straight past Muhammad, does Tom. Thank you very much for those rabbits. Nice and easy as you do.
And Tom Malone catch up to Mitchie Weston?
Nah, not a chance. Surely not. 3 laps to go, 28 seconds.
No, well, Decky's only 2 seconds back from Mitchie Weston.
Wheezy's 28 seconds behind Danny. That's what I'm
Yeah, so I wonder if
Tom
Malone can catch, what's that, 3.5 seconds or so up in the space of a lap with Deckers. Maybe they're going to use a bit of DRS together.
That's why you're OOR's #1 commentator, and I'm referred to as Crofty. Because you're back on, he can absolutely pinch P3 if he's quick enough.
I'm going to throw something out there, and it's something that I would do. Something we've seen before in real life Formula 1 is Tom Malone. Deckers will let Tom Malone through. We would assume that's going to be the case. There's going to be no fighting. I mean, he's going to do it on pace anyway.
I thought it would have been there if it was going to happen.
Yeah,
carry on.
My thought is that if Deckers is going to be the teammate, it's going to let him through. Wow, it's surprising that Tom Malone has to use the battery, but I would have thought if they weren't that much quicker than each other, which has just been proven wrong, then you let Tom Malone lead, and if you can't get past Mitchie Weston, then you give Deckers the place back.
Yeah,
the old switcheroo and a bit of teamwork.
But I don't know, like every point counts in this championship, which is so close. So I think with Deckers not being in contention for P1, whoa, got very deep in the braking zone there, did Brian Tan. Yeah, I think every point counts. So I don't know whether, even if it's, it's only P4 as opposed to P3, it just lets him have those few extra points. Brian Tan is another one who's up the top end of that championship, and he's down here in P10, so he will be looking to get some moves done here for those crucial points. Seeing a move around the outside, that's not how it's done.
Oh.
No, unfortunate. Northall and Joel Barry coming together there. So another one that the stewards will gladly have a look at over a cup of tea on Tuesday night. Can confirm all 3 drink tea.
Tom Malone's right on the back of Mitchie Weston here. This is the battle for the podium. All Tom Malone has to do is just sit there, because he will inherit above Mitchie Weston on penalties.
Yeah, spot on. Great call.
But the only issue is he has to get clear of Mitchie Weston and then be 3 seconds in front of Deckers to maintain that P3. At the moment, it would be Deckers on the podium.
Deckers will want that podium. You're spot on. Or does he get asked to back off? Apparently, TeamSpeak is down, so they're not actually able to communicate whether or not there's any plans going on. We know there's no plans going on because the TeamSpeak's not working for them. So it'll be up to Deckers.
Tom Malone, look at this.
Wow.
Flicks him the other. He's going to go around the outside.
Oh, I thought they were going to make contact. Gets it done.
That's a great move, and he keeps DRS as well. Mitchie Weston's just going to stay in the draft. All right, now it's up to Tom Malone to build that gap outside 3 seconds back to his teammate.
He's 2.4 already. It shouldn't be difficult. He's got the pace. I reckon he'll get that done. Great call from Water. That is a great result to be only one spot behind Danny Wong after his earlier collision with Momo.
Got the 5 DNF so far. Well chewed, Fiddle Fam.
Oh, Hadley got a little bit squirrely there around that. I thought he was going to come together with Joel Barry, who's had a few incidences tonight, but they kept it away from each other. It's all good. Play on.
Yeah, we saw what happened to Gerald Chew earlier. We've got Theodore Fam. Tom Malone's got a 3-second penalty.
Oh, no.
And so does Mitchy Weston, so he's got to build out another 3 seconds in a lap to his teammate. Otherwise, we're going to see Deckers return to the podium.
Tell you what, it'll be a good drive for the man. He's done it. He has not been on screen all night, and that's how you know you've had a good race. He's kept it all out of trouble. He's not had any collisions or tussles. He's got no penalties. He's just led himself. He's had a great race. Very consistent. And if he gets the result here, it'll be well deserved.
Malone's got that gap out to 4.5 seconds now, just about.
Tell you what, there's no result as good as this man, though. As I said, we discussed his plan at the start of the race, and he has brought these hard tyres all the way home. And as he comes around the final sector now, after an early incident that was part and parcel with a safety car, he used it to his advantage, and he will come home in P1, Mohammed Afan, in the Alfa Romeo on those hard tyres. An excellent result. Danny Wong in P2 will also be very happy. We'll see some penalties start to play a part as we start to move down the order, but he will hold P2. Tom Malone here in P3.
He's just about at 6 seconds.
It's going to be close.
He's only got to find 2/10. Oh, this is so close.
It's so close. There's a lot of support in chat for Tom Malone, and there's equal amount of support for Deckers, and they're both Mercedes drivers. We'll see how it forms out in about 6 seconds' time. It's going to be close. Tom's got him by 2/10. Wowee, between the teammates, that's as close as it gets. Unlucky Deckers. An excellent race from you, mate, but Tom Malone will enjoy those points. And they are all
there's still a bit going on here.
Travis saying hello to Joel Barry.
Equal on the... Oh, he's going to stick the nose up. Travis Murdoch holds on, and he's going to take home P10 for the Haas. With quite a tricky ass. That's great job by him. But what a race we were treated to in Tier 1, Jamie.
Absolutely. In Tier 2 it was. It was an absolute
Tier 2, you're right.
I'm looking forward to Tier 1. We're already on our way to that. Goodness me. Norfolk Hermer, after being disqualified in qualifying, gets driver of the day. So he'll be very happy with that. What a good little result here for Alfa Romeo, boys. One gets driver of the day, and the other holds up the trophy. Nice work. Excellent work. Mohammed Afan, what a race from him. As we said, went to the hard tyres pretty early. There's a couple in chat, and myself included, who thought that might not be the best strat with the hard tyre not being particularly quick, but he's made it work. And then, as we said, Danny Wong and Tom Malone, our top two protagonists in the championship this year for Tier 2, coming home in P2 and P3, respectively. Deck is very unfortunate not to sneak in for a podium there. He finishes P4, up from P9. Great race from him. Wheezy started 5th, finished 5th. Nice work, Mitchell Weston. Couple of points for you. Momo, come up from P11, not too bad. Couple incidences for this list going down here with Mohammed, Brian, Norfolk, Travis, Joel Barry, Adley, everyone being involved in a few incidences and stacking up the penalties. Adriel Sia finished a lap behind. And then Gerald Chu, Theodore Tham, Ryan Ning, Mock Risky, and Jared Ellis, unfortunately not finishing the race. Jared, very unlucky considering that earlier safety car.
Credit to Adley Hussein with that fastest lapper at 23.4. We should get a couple of points for that as well.
Very nice. Did sneak it in there with a 23.4. Well spotted by you, Tom Riley. Nice work, Tier 2. Very, very good performance. Very entertaining stuff. Give us 3 or 4 minutes and we will be back for Tier 1.
And we're back, ready to go for qualifying for Tier 1. Looks a little bit cloudy. I think we're going to be all right, though.
It does look a little dangerous. It is overcast. He is hoping, maybe not for qualifying, but maybe it develops. And we get a little bit of weather, perhaps. But no, he's spot on.
Looks like everyone's just getting their setups applied. I got car exiting pit lane now. Who's this? This is Mitch Weatherburn. Should be the first car out on track.
It's cloudy. It is looking ominous. Is it SEQ or is it SEC? I've been calling him SEQ. Might have to ask the man.
I think it might be SEC from what I hear, but
yeah. We'll go with SEC. Currently P4 is SEC. He's got 3 wins, which, would you believe it, is actually the most amount of wins in Tier 1 this season. Zachary James currently has 2 wins. Dimitri Forrester, Hong Yi Wang, Zachary Smith all have 1 each. So his 3 wins is the most wins in Tier 1. But with only 4 podiums and 5 top 10s, unfortunately had a couple of DNFs earlier in the season, he's been climbing back from a long way back. So he's done very well, really, to pull himself up in a P4. Currently only...
It's going to be a very busy start to this qualifying session. Everyone's going to try and get a banker in case. The weather's a little bit inclement. Might have to go and ask a driver for their opinion. Are we allowed to do that? Oh, I think we are.
Oh, yeah. Surely got a stream.
Someone switch chat and say hello. Where's Connor Kingston? 19 drivers tonight.
Absolutely love the dedication of these boys showing up every week. Still having a full tier. Now we are almost 3/4, well, I think we are 3/4 of the way through the season. So there hasn't been any dropout. Absolutely loving the commitment from these guys and from Tier 2 as well. How many safety cars for Tier 1?
Oh, and Zachary James has DNF'd.
No, he has. Oh, Gold, the current leader of the championship, will not qualify. What has happened there? Now we definitely need to jump in a very specific Twitch chat because...
That's where I am. That's where I found out.
Tell me what's happened. He has indeed DNF'd.
Apparently his brakes weren't calibrated.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Tootsie Cam would have told us straight away what was happening there. The fabled and famous Tootsie Cam. No brakes. That's not what you want in an F1 car.
Apparently no chance of rain.
No chance of rain. Okay. Doesn't look as ominous as I thought it did then.
It does look very ominous though.
Yeah, it's probably typical.
We've got another yellow in Sector 3. We've got Nick Randell. He's out.
He is, yes. You can see he's off the side of the track there. Mitch Weatherburn. Wow, what a banker. 20.8. Bang. Straight off the bat, if you don't mind. Alex Bowen half a second behind that. So that is a stonking first lap from Mitch Weatherburn. But yeah, a couple of DNFs early here. So did Ogold actually DNF because his brakes weren't working, or has he pulled out of qualifying in an attempt to get those going before the race? Would be my question. I don't know. I think he probably just would have retired from the session and given himself an opportunity to go and fix those up, because that would be massive for the championship if he can't get it together and recover for some points. Zachary James not able to qualify.
Apparently he crashed.
So the brakes just weren't working and sent him into the wall at Tier 1, at Turn 1. That's not what you want.
Absolutely not.
It's not what you want at all. So he's got 14 minutes. I do hope he can recover the hardware, get it together.
Hamster coming in with the absolute line there, FJZ.
F's in chat for F. What do you do? Double F? Did you start with a double F there? F double F Z J? Is it Z or Z by the way?
Yeah, I think it's. Oh, don't get involved in that. I don't know. Depends what people call it. That was a Ferrari. That was Jeremy Washington going slowly, and he's out. He's out of qualifying, so he's had an incident at that very fast left-right.
I know we can't see safety cars in qualifying, but if we could, there'd be one already. We've got 3 DNFs. Wowee. And it's still very early on in this session. We've still got 12 minutes to go. So at least Jeremy got a time on the board. That's a plus for him. He's up there with a 22.2, which is, it's probably not going to hold him too highly, but it's on the board. It will put him above Nick Randall and Zachary James, that's for sure. How have you voted in this, Thomas Riley? I'm going to go with 2.
Safety cars.
Yeah, I'm going with 2. Oh, there's plenty of people saying 3+. I'll have some milk on that. 1 600ml Farmers Union iced coffee to everyone who voted for 3+, if indeed that occurs. And I'll take 1 back from each of you, if it's only 2.
Nathan Monk's here, about to start his first flying lap. Gets turn 1 and 2, very nice. Doesn't use all the exit, keeps the car hugged right, tries to short line this little straight. Gets the car nicely stopped, a little bit away from the apex, doesn't really matter that too much though through this section. Uses a bit of the exit curb, gets the car turn in, he's not quite flat through turn 5. I've now got a track map up, so at least I know which corner's what. Through 6 and 7, into 8 now. Tucks the car nicely to the right. Comes all the way across the left for this 9-10 section. There's all the exit. Try and hug the car nicely to the left, then come back to the right with one feet, just breathing out of the throttle a bit. Gets the car turning nicely for the left-right. Uses the exit, little bit of oversteer. Has to just correct slightly. Brakes nice and late into turn 13. Turn 14 here. Gets the car tucked in nicely. Doesn't use much exit. Down to second. Short shifts to third. And fourth. And fifth. And he's hitting all the gears now. All the way up to the line. What time can he do? It's enough for P10. It's 22 flat. Very respectable lap time there.
Yep, he's got more time for another one. So he will want to improve. It's been a pretty good start to his F1 career from Nathan. Joined us halfway through this season and has demonstrated he's got the pace. He's been right up there in the top 5 positions a couple of times and battling with the big boys. So he's in the Williams tonight. He's been in a couple of different cars already this season, but has really slotted into that Williams now.
He's got a 10th through that first sector alone, so this could be good enough to jump him up a couple more positions here. If you're looking around about his teammate Jaden Chia there in P7, I think that's where he'll be hoping for to tuck in just behind. Zach Smith here in the Aston Martin. Was that a P? Was that the fastest through Sector 1? Looks like it. Not sure that's a visual bug. Can never know which bug's what. Car turning nicely. 9-10. Use all the exit. No real oversteer. Oh, that's a lot of curb. That is a airborne Aston Martin.
That's nearly as high off the ground as we saw that. I think it was a Ferrari we saw in the first race in Tier 2. It took off after it hit Jared. That was nearly as high in the air as that one.
Yeah. We've got 2 McLarens up in P2 and P3. They've been running really well of late. So Zach Smith, he just called off the tyres, going to go again. Mitch Weatherburn though, he's on another lap here. He's almost 2 tenths up on his PB, so this could be enough for, I think, maybe around a 20.5. So Alex Bone drops in a 20.7.
Bang!
So are we going to see these 2 drivers being the cream of the crop tonight? Weatherburn in this AlphaTauri. Can't wait to see what the rest of the liveries look like this week for the new cars. Either way, we're here in Australia and he just misses out.
Wow, that's
by
close.
3,500 hundredths of a second. That's very close.
Hello, Tom Malone in chat. Not sure what your sad face is about, but you did pretty well, mate. Picked up a podium. You can't be too displeased with that, considering obviously the circumstances. There's plenty of incidents made alongside yours, so plenty of people with worse off races. I'd be pretty happy with the P3 after all of that. It was a very entertaining race in Tier 2. Dimitri Forrester now will be looking to capitalise. He is currently P2 in the standings, behind Zachary James, who unfortunately is trying to fix up his hardware at the moment and will not qualify.
Zach Smith on that second lap bangs in a 20.5 if you don't mind.
Wow, that's quick. Welcome to Tier 1. Dimitri goes quick as well. He's a 10th behind Zachary Smith, but he goes above Alex Bowen and Mitch Weatherburn. Plenty of 20 starting to roll in now, and we've still got 7 minutes to go. Zachary Smith, I don't know if that was the 20.5 on 2 lap old tyres, so that may disadvantage him for the start of the race if he doesn't improve. But knowing that, man, he probably will. But we are seeing some very quick drivers here. 20.5, that's getting close to F1 2020 times. Those, I think we're in sort of high 19s, weren't we? So to be that close is pretty impressive.
So Dimitri Forrester here is on an invalid lap, so he's just going to call the car back, get it back to the pits. Carry on with the rest of his night. Jacob Weatherburn here, going to try and improve on his time. Yellows, never mind, that's just, I think that's just Dimitri Forrester letting someone through.
Here's Jacob Weatherburn, Yoda, brother of Sec, Mitch Weatherburn, in the Alfa Romeo. Has not improved, so 121.869. Not sure if he's going to go for another one here. He's got the DRS open, so he might be, that's for sure. And his teammate Ethan Small coming around the final sector on an out lap, I think. So we'll jump on board with Suma, Robert Wenzel. And we'll very quickly jump over to Kenneth Ang, and then we'll go back to Robert Wenzel. Who's
very slow. Is that Kyle Jackson? Is very slow through that back part of the circuit. It's just getting back up running now. Yeah, it was Kyle Jackson.
Robert's teammate. Yep.
So it looks like he might be just calling off for either boxing or going to go for a one more flyer. He's going to have to be quick though to get back out if he wants to. Just going to box. Wait and see for when everyone goes. Jacob Weatherburn, his lap was invalid. Ethan Smalls, though, his isn't. Let's see what time he can pull out in the Alfa Romeo here as he comes up. I think this is Lakeside Drive.
Yep, that's correct.
Here we go. Turns it in nicely. Down 2 gears. So we've seen people run down 1 gear. He goes down 2. A little bit of rotation out of the car. And DRS gets car braked nicely. Good speed. Move speed 205 through that corner. These guys are all a little bit faster than Tier 1 through the second to last corner, from what I'm noticing. So this should be good for Ethan Small. Jumps up to P13. Almost gets that 21.
Impressive pace. It really is.
Yeah, absolutely. We're starting to see where we've got 3 cars out on track, getting ready to fire up for their final runs.
Smithy will be rubbing his hands tonight. Currently P5, our previous champion. Has not had the best of seasons, unfortunately. He's run into all sorts of bad luck on a couple of occasions. But he now has Zachary James not qualifying, and he is P1 with a 20.5. He's got Alex Bowen trying to catch him. He's currently on an out lap. Very quick in his own right. Very interested to see how this last 3 minutes goes. If we can get faster than 20.5, I'll be surprised, but if you
Alex
told me
Bone
Smithy
might
would
have
do
been
it.
right on the money earlier. Because on board with him here. Getting ready to fire up for his lap. Two and 3/4 minutes to go. Alex Bone will be the first to get our started. Brakes nicely into turn one. Use a lot of the inside curb. Turn three into this car park section. Flat through turn five up to turn six here. Inside curb. This is the outside. No real sign of oversteer. Car's nice and settled. Gets the car right across the right hand side. Once again, this soon to be missing section. You hope 2020 F1 2022 does that the respect it deserves. Alex Bone here.
Very slightly
the
up
chicane.
through 2 sectors. Oh no, never mind.
That's
Have a
around.
curse.
As he kept it
Have
off
a
the
straight
wall, he
curse.
has. That might be him done. He'll have some flat spots and some pretty overheated tyres. If he wants to, he will get around for another go. I think he'd have to. He'd have to go for it.
Yeah, it's going to be struggle to improve on those tyres though.
And we've got Connor Kingston who's around at turn two. So that'll do him for hit running today. He's not going to get around for another lap. So he'll go and box that. That'll do him. And Alex Bone has decided that'll do him.
Threw it in there, Jaden Cherry's looking pretty quick here. Not sure what the sector times look like for the first two, but this last sector's looking very quick.
Yeah,
all the track
one of
through
those
there.
ones. Short shifting into fourth. Doesn't short shift fifth and sixth. Comes across the line. He
Yeah,
doesn't
nice improvement. He does. He was
Little
2
bit of-
tenths up. He moves up to P5. That's pretty good from Jaden.
Here's Zach Smith here. This is the lap to watch. Can we break? 20.523. He can. We're 20.394. If you don't mind. Absolutely hammering home his case for an incredible Australian Grand Prix tonight. OR Tier 1. Hong Yi, he's got his teammate in front. Won't be affected by dirty air or anything. Uses nicely through this last sector. A little bit of understeer, maybe mid-corner. A little bit of speed. He improved.
Another one into the 20s. They are lining up the 20s now. He was 4 tenths improved on his personal best, so that puts him up to P5. That's a very handy effort from Hong Yi. Both McLaren drivers inside the top 5.
The early pace set us right up with a sub 21 first lap out, if you don't mind. See how he goes. He's the fastest middle sector. Might be. This could be a banger lap here for Mitchie Weatherburn. I'll slow down nicely. Hard on the brakes, trail brakes on the exit. Nicely used a lot of that inside curve, a lot of the outside, a lot more than we've seen. Back down a second, short shift third, short shift fourth, fifth. That was Zach Smith who's binned it.
Oh, he does improve, but it's not enough. It puts in P2.
Just under a tenth slower.
Very close, under a tenth to Smithy. That's cracking pace from Tier 1. That's incredible. Unreal. We were discussing whether we'd see how many 20s we'd see. I didn't expect to see that many 20s. I thought we'd see a few crack in there, but
yeah, look at that, 6 20s.
6 in the top 20 and in 20s. That's amazing. Very nice. Only a second gap all the way down to P10 as well. Jacob Weatherburn knocking on the door of that second, not far away. Mitch Weatherburn, P2, his brother. Dimitri Forrester and Hong Yi Wang both inside the top 5 in their McLarens. Alex Bowen doing pretty well in P4, but unfortunately not able to improve on his last lap. And unfortunately, our championship leader down there, having not set a time, he'll have a long way to go, looking to potentially use some strategy to get back up the top. We'll find out how that turns out as we return for Tier 1 in around about 3 minutes. Bang, and we're back. Yep. Goodness me, they don't mess around in Tier 1. No time to scratch yourself. They are halfway through the first lap. How about that? Hong Yi has jumped up a position, I think, and there's not been much movement. Zachary James has made his way up to P16 already, so he's cutting through the field. Smithy has pulled out a 6/10 gap off the start, so that's not a shabby start for him. But goodness me, they were ready to go in Tier 1 tonight.
Absolutely, they were. A little bit of information for you. There are 2 outside the top 10 who starting on softs. The rest are on mediums. Interesting to see how that strategy plays out. Nice little battles back here. Connor Kingston being a bit of a shoe, sort of holding everyone up.
And he's sort of creating a bit of a train behind him as he tries to stay on the back of Jacob Weatherburn, who's pulled away a pretty significant gap already in this first lap. Zachary Smith, 27.9 for a first lap is pretty handy. As Kenneth Ang slaps himself into the pits. Not sure what's happened there. I don't know. Surely that's not a tyre change. Am I repairing some damage back?
Maybe.
Oh, and that's
no.
Jeremy Washington. He's had a unfortunate turn 1.
I had flashbacks of Aaron Heather because he drives the Ferrari as well, and I got a little bit sad, and I'm still pretty sad because it's Jezza. Goodness grief. He had a DNF in qualifying, and now he's probably down the back of the field, other than Kenneth. No, don't like to see that. He'll fight his way back, Jeremy. He's a class driver. He's proven over many seasons, so I'm sure we'll see him back in the thick of it later on, but we're on board with the 2 McLaren drivers here. Hong Yi chasing Dimitri around.
You can see the difference already on the mediums versus the softs on this start. Connor Kingston, he's been a bit of a plug back there, holding everyone up a bit. down 3.7, almost 3.8 seconds on Jacob Weatherburn. So it'll just be probably medium running versus the softs.
Yeah, it is definitely a tyre difference. Interested to see if Connor's pace picks up. He is pretty fast, so we'll see what happens when he gets those mediums warmed up. But
Mitch Weatherburn with the fastest flying lap there. Start us off.
Hunting down Smithy. Yep.
This will be a great battle throughout the night, I reckon. Zach Smith versus Mitch Weatherburn.
Don't count out Alex Bowen. He'll be looking for a good result tonight. He loves this track.
Zach James trying to climb his way through the field. He's going to try and hang around the outside in the car park.
Oh.
A little bit wide.
Oh. Oh, he's still side by side with Warnefeek, who's not giving him a lot of room, but he eventually gets it done. So pretty classy driving there from Zachary James. Warnefeek now under a lot of pressure from Robert Wenzel. And Warnefeek's not really finished with Zachary James, who's forced to defend down the inside and goes a little bit wide there too. So Warnefeek will get the run, and he will go right around the outside. Warnefeek not giving up on that. And our championship leader being forced to ask very nicely for all of these positions. Robert Wenzel getting a primo view of that battle. Yeah, Decker's just missing out on qualifying, unfortunately. Zachary James had some brake pedal issues and couldn't get them connected. So we didn't see it, but apparently he went straight into the wall at Tier 1 because his brakes weren't working. So he did not qualify. And he started from the back of the field. So we're watching him cut his way through the field. He has got Warnefeek and he's behind his teammate now. But we're back on board with Mitch Weatherburn. Currently chasing down Zachary Smith. You're not wrong. This is going to be the battle to watch. I wouldn't be surprised if Alex Bowen hangs on to the back of those two. But it will be between them as we see yellow in Sector 1. That looks like Nick Randall going pretty slow to the back there, unfortunately.
Fortunate for Dean in qualifying.
He's carrying on with all his bits and pieces in place. The end plate's still attached. The wing's all good, so he will carry on. But the ass of that Haas, again, playing a bit of a tricky tune. I just don't see a way for... Yeah, Zachary James to go straight past him. So I was just thinking of Con trying to hold off. And Warnefeek gets through as well. Just watching a bit of a battle happen back there. Zachary James has made 8 positions in the first 4 laps. He's on a mission. Our championship leader very much has the pace, but doesn't want to leave much to chance and strategy, making these positions very quickly. There he is.
Forrester bangs to the fastest lap, 24.2. Taking that back from his teammate.
Keep an eye on Alex Bowen. The boy from Rabunya. He'll be quick, but you're not wrong. Dimitri replies straight away. So there's a pretty significant train there from 1 down to 5th. As DRS has opened up now, so we'll stick with each other.
Certainly the form drivers in this split, minus Zachary James back there. We'll be hoping for something better. Connor Kingston is in the pits though, so that's an interesting call. There's a bit of boop on the Tootsie there.
All good. Good little battle. There's no traction out there though for Torterra. Andre McLeod loses all sorts of traction and falls behind. Warnefeek having a few good battles early on in this race. And Robert Wenzel's got him at some point. So Smithy picks up the first penalty of the day, 5 laps in. He's clearly pushing, trying to build a gap to Mitch Weatherburn, and has overstepped the mark on 3 occasions, which... Oh, that's dead! That is a dead Alpine. Who was that? That is Andre McLeod.
Oh, okay, we've got
Jeremy
a VSC.
Washington. Jerry does pretty well to avoid him. He's plonked right in the middle of it, and that is a safety car. That is our first safety car of Tier 1. A lot of drivers diving into the pits there, not including Dimitri Forrester, who stays out. But, wow, what about the timing of that safety car? Goodness me, all the front runners were just coming up to the pit lane. That could have gone terribly for, say, Smithy and Mitch Weatherburn if that safety car wasn't called on time, because they would have been working out whether or not to plug in for the virtual safety car and whether or not it was going to last long enough. And just as they came around that last sector, it switched to a full safety car. So they dive into the pits.
You you know who this absolutely benefits is Zach James. He's already up to P5 and he's going to be right on the back of Kyle Jackson. And we go racing again. So those medium tyres will be good for him.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that is the front runners out behind the safety car. So I've made a mess of that. I thought Smithy and Weatherburn had a chance to dive into the pits, but they didn't. So, tell you what, Zachary James up there,
marginal.
Up there in P5. He's gone from P19 to P5 in 6 laps. He's definitely got his thing on tonight. But yeah, top 5 runners not quite making it into the pits for the safety car. So 14 positions. Bang, bang. Love that. Excellent work from that's why he's leading the championship. He's very, very fast. Plenty of fast drivers in here, but he's setting himself apart again tonight. Still with work to do. Oh, that was pretty close to the back of that Mercedes of Zachary James there from Alex Bowen under safety car, but never in doubt. I trusted him to keep it out, and he did. So, yeah, Alex Bowen in for a pretty good result tonight, I would think. Jumps onto the hards, currently leading that pack. Hong Yi behind him, and Jade Chia doing very well for himself tonight. There's no slouch, currently P7 in the standings behind Alex Bowen, so...
Well, there we go. So we're seeing Mitch Weatherburn and Kyle Jackson box now, and they've absolutely lost out with that timing of the safety car.
I'll tell you what else I'm seeing is a red X on Zachary James. Not sure if he's...
And I can tell you exactly what it is.
I wonder what it is.
I believe he has to quit his game and rejoin.
Oh dear.
Because of some controller issues.
He's not getting that hardware together tonight. That's not what we want to see. That's not what we want at all for this championship battle. It's lucky that it's under safety car, so he does have a better chance to fix that up. He would have asked the race director if he could put the car into AI mode, which is in at the moment, which is what happens when you press pause. Just seen him launching the game again, so he's on his way back. But this safety car will come in this lap, and he's still got some menus to navigate, so it'll be interesting to see whether the AI is still in control of that car when we get to the start-finish straight.
They're just firing up now, so he'll be nice and he'll be close as to whether he rejoins. Safety car won't wait around.
No, it won't. He'll be cutting it fine, and he may lose some of those positions that he's gained.
Safety car in this lap.
Tell you what, I wouldn't want to be losing too many positions up there. Alex Bowen
joining the session now. This is going to be really tight.
Jade and Chair are all going to be very hard to pass if they get past his AI car, so it's going to be close. And of course, the AI, we never trust the AI. Goodness me, it can be unpredictable sometimes, so we've all got our fingers crossed in chat that he can get that together before.
Oh, he's still got to clarify. He's still got to sort his brakes.
Oh dear. It looks like the AI has overtaken Dimitri under safety car. And the AI is definitely in control of that car because he's now ghosted and overtaking Smithy. Looks like he's got it back. That might be our goal, I think. Yep. So he does lose out 2 positions, which is not a terrible result. Could have been much worse, but we're underway again. We are green. Zachary takes those spots back.
What is going on here?
And Zachary Smith has a 5 second for ignoring yellow flags, even though there were no yellow flags. So that's not going to be making him very happy.
This has absolutely gone from calm to not so calm.
3 wides all the way down here into turn 4.
Oh no!
And there's a couple around. That's Alex Bowen. No, we didn't want to see that from Alex Bowen. The boy from Brupp is round. It's all kicking off here in Tier 1. Goodness me. We know that this game has the tendency to desynchronize if players are to disconnect and reconnect, so I'm not sure if that's the case here. I know that the race host wasn't involved in any of that, but goodness me, it could have been worse, but there's going to be some pretty unhappy campers out there. Zachary James, well, both Zacharys amongst those names. As I said, I'm not confident. I mean, I'm pretty confident. Zachary Smith gained a 5-second penalty for not slowing under yellows, and there were no yellows, so not sure that was what that was about. On board with Nick Randall here, flying the flag for the Haas. It's a pretty tricky car to drive, as attested to by all of their drivers in our series. Even though it's equal performance, that car seems to be a little bit tricky around the rear. Insert bad puns here. Kenneth Ang in the other AlphaTauri. Well, that's a move down the inside. Pretty ambitious from Ethan Small. And I think that was on Mitch Weatherburn. He got it back, did Mitch Weatherburn.
So like what I'm seeing from Zach Smith and Dimitri Forrester here, just working together a little bit. Get clear. Oh, they would be working together, but they're doing enough to just build that gap away from Zach James.
Yeah, on those soft tyres, that's probably to be expected. Mediums for Zachary. And obviously some hard. Whoa! Oh, what a save that was from. I'm not sure. It was Ethan Small, who got all sorts of crossed up there, and he managed to hold on to it. Goodness me, that could have been much worse. And he's managed to keep it together and tucked in behind Kyle Jackson, who we're on board with now. Oh, big clenches there for Ethan Small. Can't believe he managed to keep that together. What a save that was. DRS has been enabled. So Dimitri managed to close the gap and is within a second of Zachary Smith. He'll enjoy the benefit.
Yellows. Ethan Small spun around again. Back there at the second last corner.
Oh no.
There is no front nose on that.
He had one good save earlier on in the lap, but it's come unstuck there. So he'll dive into the pits. Get some new pieces.
Got a C for it too.
It's not a safety car. Keep your milk for that one. Only had one so far within 10 laps, which is, I think Tier 2 had 2 at this point. Virtual safety car. How long will this last? Will this get? This surely isn't going to last long enough for these two to get around and change their softs. So they'll stick with it for another 3 or 4 laps. We saw the Tier 2 boys start to jump off those softs around about 11, 12, 13 laps.
Brian Tan did 13 laps on his softs.
Yeah, he really stuck it out, didn't he?
Yeah, he did that extra lap, and it was sort of unfortunate. Dimitri Forrester with
no!
Speeding under virtual safety car.
We've all been there. We've all done that. Oh no, that hurts. That really stings. That Delta can play tricks on you, and I'm not sure if that's the case here. But Codemasters may have done it again. That has absolutely ruined his race. You're spot on, Tom.
He's right in the pits there to serve his drive through. Well, with Mitch Weatherburn here after his good start. Great qualifying performance from him. He's going to make the move pretty easily on Nick Randall, who also had DRS, but was in the train. Good move in the background as well. Kyle Jackson on Kenneth Ang.
Ethan Small's got a drive through as well. Not sure where he picked that up from. He's got 3 seconds for multiple track limit warnings, but I didn't see what the drive through was for. But he's picked one up as well. Potentially for the same thing. He's already made 2 stops and he's going to have another visit to his pit crew. We'll be getting sick of seeing him at this point.
Zach James up at a P17. Well, up 17 spots in a P2.
Yeah, feeling the pressure here from Hong Yi though. Who we know is very quick. What a debut race he had in Bahrain. Absolutely destroyed the field, and we thought he was going to be right up there for the title. And sure enough, he is. He's currently P3. It's about 50 points behind Dimitri and Zachary, but he's certainly in contention still with 4 rounds to go after this one.
We absolutely love bots in the live chat. Go away.
Yeah, it's having a crack on, isn't it?
Instead, Zach Smith had pitted, and he's all the way down in 17th. That's really unfortunate for him with the timing of that VSC and the other safety car. Nick Randell picks up a 3-second time penalty for track limits. This is huge. Zach James leading the race. He's started on those medium tyres. They'll be feeling a bit worse for wear soon. Hong Yi on those much newer hard tyres. So Zach James will be banking on a safety car here to get that stop done.
Out of context, it's supposed to only give us stuff. That man has come from dead last and is currently leading the race. So regardless of what happens, that's an incredible performance over 12 laps. He gets a bit of love from Hong Yi, who says, I don't care how good you are, I want that P1. And that invites Jaden Chia up, who goes pretty deep under brakes, manages to pull it up. And look at this battle forming behind him as well. We have plenty of cars in proximity.
Williams up there.
Wowee, that is how 6, maybe 7 drivers. Look how close they are as they go into turn 1. Wowee.
That's a big wowee from me. Kyle Jackson picks up 3-second time penalty for track limits as well.
Stack up the penalties a little bit, and pretty early on too. So we saw them play a part in Tier 2 and deciding the podium places. So I'm sure we'll see something like that at the end of this race as these penalties continue to come in. Yoda now grabbing himself 3 seconds. On board with him now, currently sitting P4, which is a pretty handy performance so far. Got all sorts of that sausage. Didn't cost him a lot of pace, which he'll be happy with. So he tucks in behind Jaden Chia. It's a lovely little slipstream. Up into this complex little left and right. Oh, that's probably a cut too, just quietly. It's a very tricky left-right. You can lose so much time there by not committing to it, but overcommit and you are dead. It's a very tricky left-right, very deceiving. This is Hong Yi going around the outside of Zachary James. And this time getting it done, but Zachary's not done. Has a little look up the inside. And I think you'll have to see. He will now gain DRS on the way up to turn 1, but Hong Yi has made that move on hard tyres, if you don't mind. So certainly not. It may not be the optimum tyre, but they've clearly got pace, those hard tyres. We've seen them tonight in a couple of instances. They're very pacey. Jaden Chia also on the hard tyres.
Hong Yi and Jaden Chia are both on a very similar strategy to what we saw a race winner tonight do in Tier 2. It was
Hamid Irfan in the
performance.
for a man. Oh no, Hong Yi's dead!
No!
What's going on? It's literally just cursed him off the track, and that is safety car number 2. Oh, that's going to be
There's almost contact. Oh.
Was that contact? Yes, it is. That is 5 seconds between the brothers, if you don't mind. I'm not sure if both of them picked up that 5-second penalty, but you do not touch other cars under safety car because Codemasters will slap you with 5 straight away. So the brothers coming together and giving each other a little pen. One won't be happy with the other. Hong Yi, you don't like to see it. He's currently P3 in the championship. He won't be after tonight. Well, I don't mean to jump the gun, but goodness me, anything can happen. But Smithy and Mitch Weatherburn are right behind him in the championship, so that DNF's not going to do him any favours at all. It does give Zachary James some breathing room too, because he was battling ferociously with him. You know what, I'm loving the performance of Jaden Chia. He's demonstrated he's got the pace, and now finds himself in P2. Does dive into the pits now though. Does he? No, that's Zachary James. Oh, it's both of them. I think that's Zachary and Jade. No. He's still on screen. No.
That must be Zach James and... Oh,
no, he is dropping down the field.
Timing board. This timing board is...
It's having a fit.
There are a lot of cars in the pits.
It's having a fit.
We do have Jacob Weatherburn, Mitch Weatherburn, 2 brothers. Nick Randell picks up 5 seconds penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Connor Kingston up in P3 after his unfortunate start. It was a bit of a plug from the top 10 to the back 10. Back 9, I should say. Sounds like I'm playing golf.
Yeah, as you said, it was a bit slow of a start, but he was on those medium tyres trying to warm them up, and he got fresh choice. So he's done very well to find himself up there at P3.
It also sounded like there was a little bit of contact at one stage with him when O'Gold got past him with another driver. Can't remember who it was, but might have been a little bit of contact. Either way, he's currently sitting P3 on some mediums that, look, will get him a fair way deep into this race, but I think he's still got one more stop he has to do to change tyres. So I have to see whether he's met his mandatory stop requirement and running 2 different compounds. Here we go. He's done the 1 stop, so started on the medium, still on the medium, so he's still got another stop. Jacob Weatherburn and Mitch Weatherburn do not. So they were both in the top 10 and started on the soft tyres. So Connor Kingston is in a bit of an unfortunate position here.
If there's anyone in chat who knows what these two are doing, are they in the same house? I don't know how old they are. I know Mitch is older than Jacob. But I'm interested to know if they're in the same house and if they're maybe in the same room. There's a rumpus room somewhere, or if they're living apart, these two brothers. Someone in chat, let me know. Marl, you probably know.
And Riggs right next to each other.
You reckon just twinsies, little right next to each other, and as they gave each other that little tap under safety cars, a friendly little punch to the elbow.
His and his Riggs.
I was thinking of getting my daughter a rig and setting her up next to me. That'd be pretty funny. But if she started beating me, I'd retire immediately.
I know someone who can build you a rig out of some wood pallets.
Oh, name drop.
Friend Timo.
He would, wouldn't he? Yes.
He would absolutely give you his engineering diagrams on the back of a crisp packet.
He's a professor, a scholar, and a gentleman, and also very handy with his hands. Building himself up a lovely little Sunday drive at the moment. Makes quite a lot of noise. So, g'day to you, Professor, if you're out there. But yeah, just interested to know if these two are in the same house and whether they sort of give each other a friendly hip and shoulder after the race, or I'm pretty sure they're both sort of old enough to have moved out if that's what they wanted to do. So, if anyone out there knows, I'd be interested. I might ask them afterwards.
G'day, Nick, in chat. Yeah, championship's going well. Zach James leads at the moment, 288 points. Dimitri Forrester behind him on 265. Hongi on 216. Mitch Weatherburn, of course, running P2 in this race, is 213 points. With the most wins, but only the 5 top 10s, which has just unfortunately ruined some of his good run. Had a did not start at Silverstone, and his worst run out have been both Italian rounds, scoring 10 and 7 points only.
Oh.
What are we seeing?
We're seeing a late safety car call in. Usually that happens a lot earlier, but that almost waited until the last turn before it notified us, and we are away. Jacob Berthenberg will lead us away, and he's gapped his brother pretty quickly off that start too. So that happened pretty late. I don't know if that's just me, but usually we get told a little bit earlier that the safety car's ending. But anyway, down to turn 1, they all file. And that is Alex Bowen getting pretty unfriendly there with...
Duana Feet getting a little bit taily.
A couple of cars getting a little bit unhappy around the first sector here. And that's 3 or 4 wide coming down. What is happening there? Goodness me! How they all got through there cleanly is beyond me, but they managed to do it because they're high-quality drivers. But goodness me, that could have been way worse than it was. They get into single file now through that corner, which is very important. Never want to go too wide there. But we resume the 2 wide battling. They're managing to
charge through the field on those soft tyres.
They're managing to stay out of each other, but wowee, this is close racing all the way through. That's Kyle Jackson getting a bit of love.
Contact. Oh, it's all going on up in front.
Wanafik's been involved in a couple of little niggles now, and he's picked himself up 3 seconds for cutting the track too. Kyle Jackson goes down the inside of this. Is not a corner. We want to go too wide into.
What is going on? Someone has to go across the line.
And fair enough too, they taken the safety road there because that's not... Oh, goodness me. Look how many cars we have in tandem here. Again, 2 wide through there. That's a good little overtaking corner, so there's plenty of space.
Do have a yellow. No, we're good to go again.
Dimitri opening up the steering there and letting Nick Randell through. Look how close they are. They are nose to bum. As we round the final sector and kick off another lap. We've got about 9 to go. DRS not quite open yet after the safety car.
How's your maths, JC?
It's not great, but
I think there's 12 to go.
there's around about 9 to go. I usually prefix my numbers with around about or estimated to be to give myself a little buffer. But yeah, that was pretty clearly not 9.
It's all going on here. Jacob Weatherburn picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings as well.
This middle sector has seen plenty of action over the last lap. I don't think it's over yet. We're on board with 1 feet. And Jaden Chia battling with him. They look to have single-filed a little now, which is nice. They've sort of settled down. No, never mind. Jaden Chia's got a great run, and he's going to continue this battle. All the way down here into... Oh, he actually got the move done, so he did that pretty well. When DRS opens up in the next lap, all of these battles are going to resume as those flaps open up and overtaking opportunities begin to evolve. Zachary James only 2/10 behind Alex Bowen. Kyle Jackson 4/10 behind Jeremy Washington. And this man, Kenneth Ang, very close to Smithy. So DRS is open. We will see some moves again. Dimitri will want to get this move done immediately. As quick as Nick Randall is, Dimitri is fighting for the championship, so he will want to make up some positions quick smart.
Jackie picks up another penalty there.
There's
And
a
you've
couple,
got 5 drivers without penalties. Alex Bone being the best placed of them.
a couple racking them up. I wouldn't be surprised to see a few 6s and 9s once we get a view of that. But at the moment, we're on board with Jeremy Washington, who's trying to hold off Smithy. Goodness me.
I think it's a pretty null and void effort, to be honest.
Yeah.
Those softs will
Smithy
give
on
him
those
so
softs.
much grip under here. Gets underneath him, up alongside, nice and
Doesn't
easy.
give it up easy, but yeah, he basically had to allow that. Not cost himself too much time because he will then come under pressure from Kenneth and Jaden Chia. Jaden Chia, we know, very quick today. He's got his fast pants on. Kenneth Ang using all of the curb and some. And that is Jaden Chia making a move around the outside. They're getting very close there.
They're still next to each other.
Both staying on the road, avoiding contact. That's classy driving from both of them.
Absolutely why these are some of the best drivers in OOR. The best in F1. Zach James here, he's got DRS on Alex Bone. Alex Bone's got DRS on Jacob Weatherburn. I think his best bet is just sitting behind, trying to get the exit. Which can't quite. Oh, it's a bit wide. Jacob Weatherburn's in the grass.
No on the grass, Jacob.
That'll be Zach James' invitation to get past.
Doing God's work out there for Jim's mowing, but that unfortunately lets Alex Bowen through into P2, and Zachary James grabs one as well. Connor battling here with the Red Bull of Kyle Jackson. Kyle Jackson getting his elbows out a little there and having that. And now, what a run from Smithy on Connor Kingston. Connor defending down the inside.
Through there.
Plenty of exit curb, so Smithy uses all of that.
Still there.
Connor is still there.
This is a great battle.
Using a stack of battery to get it done, but he'll probably give this one up now, and he does. Smithy on the soft tyres getting plenty of traction out of that little chicane, so on they go. 11 laps to go now, minus a couple, give or take a few.
It might be 10.
No, you got to own your mistakes. So 4 laps to go after this one. Connor Kingston doing pretty well up there in P7. Hasn't had a great deal of luck this season. Had a few incidences of his own, and then a few that unfortunately he had nothing to do with.
We've got a yellow. We've got a yellow. We've got Alex Bone.
Oh, look at all this. Oh, no. Oh, God, goodness me.
Oh, no.
Slow down for yellows, people. What's wrong with you? Goodness gracious. Is that a safety car? It is. There's number 3. There's number 3. So I voted for 2. 600 mils of the sweetest Farmers Union on its way to each and every one of you who voted for 3+. Goodness me. If I was a steward, I'd be looking at those yellow flag drivers because there was not a lot of patience being shown. There's almost an overtake happening there at one point. But Mitch Weatherburn finds himself out the front of the pack, and Zachary James, P2, coming from the back of the field and now in a very nice position.
On the softs as well. We'll need to have a look at penalties because those top 5 all have penalties.
He'll be protecting those soft tyres under this safety car, which will just extend their life a little bit and give him a bit more sort of happiness at the end of the race. And Smithy, during the Tier 2 race, pointed out that the softs are very, very nice at the end of the race with a low fuel car. So he will be loving life. Smithy himself in P6, also on the softs. So both Zachary's...
Connor Kingston as well back there in P16. He just stopped as soon as that safety car was called, dived in the pit lane. Well, he actually dived in the pit lane as Alex Bone was crashing himself into the fence on the main straight. So we'll be running well for Zach James though on the softs. Nurse them for a couple of laps. Might just have the one more lap on a safety car as well. Safety car takes a little while to get rolling again, so hopefully everyone's seen that. It's just going to take it easy. Ben Curtis won a feat. Alex Bone has to do a whole lap to get around. Connor Kingston jumps everyone there in the pits, as you'd expect. Nathan Monks is going to make up some easy spots as well with the safety car. We have 6 drivers without penalties. You see the penalties here. Zach Smith is actually the best placed with those 3 seconds. Jeremy Washington's job is to try and stay within 3 seconds of the leaders. That'll be difficult, but you never know. Stranger things have happened.
Mitch Weatherburn will be ruining that collision with his brother, because that is the only penalty he has. He's not tracked limits penalties at all. He's only got that 5 seconds for that safety car bump with his bro. So he's now got to gap Zachary James by 2 seconds, if you don't mind. I don't envy that task.
Not Zach James, who will be absolutely fired up seeing the safety car so close to him and seeing the leader right there. And he's on the soft tyres, and he'll be fired up after that qualifying.
He'll be fired up, he'll be zinging on, he'll be creaming on, he'll be getting all the bloody slogans out trying to get this one home. If he comes from last and does a last to first challenge...
Including having to quit the game and rejoin.
Absolute scenes.
I'm sure there'll be a few unhappy faces in some of these drivers after seeing that. What happened at the start of after the last safety car restart, but that's not for us to discuss. That's for the stewards to discuss afterwards as well.
It's going to be a big night on Tuesday night for the stewards. I'll give you the tip. Tier 2 was pretty spicy, and there's been plenty happening here in Tier 1. I think it was only 11 or 12 in Tier 3 tonight, but I saw a DNF and a couple of incidences there too, so it's going to be a pretty heavy Tuesday night in the stewards booth.
So they should get green flag running this time by. Hopefully not as late notice.
Yeah, it should definitely be in this lap, and that'll leave us with 11 laps to go.
Plus or minus a couple.
Give and or take. I want to love this safety car, Tom. I want to love it because it's green, but as we discussed last week, I just think the Mercedes looks better. It just looks much sharper. Neither of them look like a safety car. One's red and one's green. Safety car should be yellow. I don't know if that's just me, but a safety car.
No, I think I'm still on the fan of safety car being either a bright green or a silver.
So you're a fan of this Aston then, being it's not necessarily bright green. It's an Aston.
No, green. I'm not really.
So what do you prefer out of the Aston and the Mercedes?
My heart tells me Mercedes, but my brain is saying go the Aston Martin because it is actually the best looking of the 2 cars.
Right. Well, we're going to agree to disagree.
In road spec.
Ah, okay, right. I thought we were talking. Yeah. Anyway, we have been told the safety car is in this lap, so thank you, Codemasters, for letting us know right and early and giving us plenty of notice. Because now, with 47 laps to go, we're getting very excited for the end of this race. Mitch Weatherburn.
I can't wait for the Spa Enduro.
Spa Enduro is going to be...
There's so much to play out.
That's going to be a long night for you and I. Oh, no! What's happened? We're on board with Mitch Weatherburn, who's been hit under safety car by this man.
The contact happened.
And Mitch Weatherburn got fined for it as well. Mitch Weatherburn now has 10 seconds worth of penalties for something he did not create. Oh my goodness, if the steward's room was going to be any spicier, that'll do it. Mitch Weatherburn now with 10 seconds of penalties. Zachary James with 8 of his own.
Nick Randell's DNF'd. Are we going back under safety car?
What? He has 2 on the start-finish straight. We hadn't even left safety car conditions, and Nick Randall has gone around. It is still yellow. We're not seeing a VSC yet. They are carrying on. There's no yellow flags here, so these boys will be racing. They'll be on cold tyres, but they'll be on low fuel, so the car will feel pretty dancy. And we will carry on.
Win this race.
We will carry on with no safety car. You're not wrong. If Jeremy can stick with him, although he has dropped off the back pretty significantly already, he is a second and a half behind Smithy. So, and he's under pressure.
He's at least stay within 3 seconds of Kyle Jackson.
It's a big ask. I know what you're saying. All he has to do, but it's a big ask. They are fast boys up in
especially
front.
on 18 lap hards.
Yeah,
that is going to be a task and a half.
He's got a lot of work to do, but he can still pick up a really good position. Let's be honest. He started from basically last. He's not Zachary James type last. He posted a lap. He started from 17th. So if he keeps it together, he can still pick up sort of 4th or 5th or something like that here. But yeah, he's got a long way to go to win this race on those 18 lap old hards. But goodness me, what
the end of the race.
night. Oh, I am sweating. What the bloody hell has happened tonight?
Codemasters, you've done it again.
All sorts of action tonight. Not just Codemasters, but the drivers themselves just lending themselves to great racing, and a couple of elbows out battles and another yellow flag.
Yellow again.
One.
There are 2 cars stopped on track. It's Jane Chair and Dimitri Forrester. We got a safety car.
Oh, that's 4 now. Goodness me, another safety
Holy
car.
moly.
Wowee. So 2 DNFs coming together there were Jaden Chair and Dimitri Forrest. Wow, Dimitri for the championship. That's going to really hurt him. Both McLaren drivers. The Constructors' Championship with McLaren currently leading.
Blown wide open. Oh,
Wowee. What an absolute shuffle. Get your Excel spreadsheets out, your abacuses and everything else, because it's all gone to shit tonight. Bloody hell.
We're going to need some engineers for this lot. Gee whiz.
We had
Some people who really know their numbers.
We had the bloody space program in here before. We're going to need to get them back to work out the results after this one, because goodness me, the penalties have shaken it up. The DNFs. Deckers, you're in chat. You're the one who does all these Excel spreadsheets and gets all this together for us. Goodness me, I don't envy your position. Doesn't matter how good at Excel you are. What a mess this has made. Both McLaren drivers out. Current P2 in the championship, Dimitri, out. Hong Yi, currently P3, out. Mitch Weatherburn, currently P4 in the championship, leading this race, but with a stack of penalties that he may or may not deserve. Zachary James, the leader of the championship, currently P2, also with some penalties, and God knows what his brakes are doing.
Deckers is doing the God's work for us at the moment. He's working it out. Oh, no, we're not working out live. Sorry, I read that as working out live.
One feet ducks into the pits. He's going to get a fresh set of softs to finish this race on.
So we've still got Jeremy Washington out on those 20-lap hards. Jacob Weatherburn, he'll be a sitting duck, you'd think, on 20-lap mediums. And there's still a whole lot of penalties to work out. This race is not going to finish until the last car crosses the line. I'm calling it now. Raj is going to do God's work if we can get the pens up. I don't know how much you can do, mate.
I actually think this works out pretty well for Jezza, just quietly. He was probably under all sorts of pressure in those laps from Kenneth and Robert, but now they're stuck behind him. And yes, they are now 20 laps, but, you know, the Kenneth and Robert tyres are also going a bit cold now, and they're also pretty old. And he's not dropping any further back from the front guys than he probably would have dropped way further back if it wasn't for the safety car. So now he's only got 2 or 3 laps to hold on. He's on for a much better position than I think the safety car would. If the safety car wasn't there, he would be in all sorts of trouble. But now, he's got a chance to really hold on for some big points here. Come on, Jezza, get in there from P17. What a result that'll be. But again, all of this goes up to shit until Tuesday because all of these drivers have got penalties and some of them will be removed and there's going to be protests and crap going on all week. This ain't over yet. Stay
Zach
tuned.
James up 17 spots, but there's still so many penalties to work out. Oh, I'm sitting here trying to rack my head around how this works.
Safety car doing another lap? I don't know if I saw the message. He's doing
No,
another lap.
it
Safety
is.
car.
We're
Jesus,
going to
in
have
love.
a 2-lap dash.
Jeremy is absolutely punching the air in joy right now because he gets another lap under the safety car to hold on to all these positions he's made. They were all bunched up. There's nothing. The safety car's genuinely on drugs. I can't believe we didn't see one for, I can't remember who DNF before, and it was just plastered across the track and there was no safety car. And now, safety car's just out here doing joyrides for everyone, just cruising around doing his own thing. Goodness me. So we're going to have a 6-lap dash to the finish. What a finish this is going to be. And as we said, all these penalties.
Yeah, here are the penalties. So 10 seconds for Mitch Weatherburn. 8 for Zach James. 6 for Jacob Weatherburn. 3 for Kyle Jackson. 6 for Zachary Smith. None for
Jezza.
Jeremy Washington.
Get up there, Jezza.
Jeremy Washington needs to
21
remain within
laps.
3 seconds of Kyle Jackson and within 10 seconds of Mitch Weatherburn. And I think he can win this race.
But as we said, you got to hold on to your hats and stay tuned in the Discord until at least Wednesday or maybe Thursday next month because the calculations are going to take forever. It's going to be an absolute shambles trying to work out all these penalties. Safety car in this lap.
Here we go. We're going to have a 2-lap dash here. Tier 1 Australian Grand Prix, 50% race. And we have no idea who's going to win.
Even after it's done and all is done and dusted within the game, we still don't know who's won this one. It's going to be a mess. But I tell you who it's not good for is Dimitri Forrester and Hong Yi. P2 and P3 in the championship respectively, and now both DNF'd in this race. Our man Aspect is in chat now. Unfortunate for you, mate. That's going to cost you a lot. Zachary's going to bring this home, I reckon, and build himself a nice little buffer going into the last 4 rounds. But Tom, bring me home for this last 2 laps. Goodness me, Mitch Weatherburn will lead us away.
Goes early. Absolutely gassed it early. He knows he has to try and build as much of a gap to maintain position over Zach James. He has to have 2 seconds to hold position over Zach James.
Smithy's
Very
getting a
willing
run
back
here.
here. Zach Smith with Kyle Jackson.
Smithy's going to have to go around the outside, which we've seen not really work at all tonight for many drivers. But
He's got those
that
softs with a
pace.
lot of traction. Look at
Wow,
that.
right
go.
around the outside of that corner, which is pretty hard to do. We've seen plenty of moves fail there tonight. Great effort from Smithy. A couple of 2x2s here. Please don't go 2x2 into that corner. Goodness me, they sorted out. Look at all these full batteries to use in the last 2 laps. They're going to be absolutely gassing it. On board with Connor Kingston, who's behind Alex Bowen, Nathan Monks and Robert Wenzel, all together going up into this heavy braking zone. There'll be a little move there from Connor, which he gets done pretty nicely. He won't be finished yet. He's on soft tyres, as are the guys in front of him, though. So an equal type of performance graph should be shown. Oh, pretty close there. He had to get on the brakes. Alex Bowen doing very nicely around that little section there.
Kyle Jackson and Jeremy Washington a line astern. He's right on the back of Jeremy Washington. Jeremy Washington, I think, is still within the range to win this race on track.
Penultimate lap, Jeremy's right up there. He's hanging in there. That safety car has absolutely blessed him. Imagine doing another lap for literally no reason. Ferrari.
And we have no DRS.
Yeah.
Are we going to go 3 wide into turn 1 here at the back of the grid?
Someone pull out. Oh, no contact. What the hell? How did they do that? The best drivers in OR showing you how it's done. Connor Kingston next to Alex Bowen all the way down here, and also got Juan Afik right next to Nathan Monks with Ben. Oh, no, it has died. No, Connor's gone around again. No.
Oh!
It had to happen. They were too wide for too long. It couldn't stay like that forever. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a safety car here.
Oh my word! Zach Smith got past Jacob Weatherburn there as well. Jeremy Washington is just falling off the back of Kyle Jackson. Don't fall any further back. Jezza.
Hang in there, Jez. Pull out a brilliant last sector. I believe in it. We'll watch Jacob Weatherburn try and catch up to Smithy. Oh, that looked like a cut, but he's all good. He's got warnings left under the bag because he's got no extra penalties. So using all of the track cuts remaining. Side by side, Alex Bowen, Alex Bowen and Robert Wenzel.
Robert Wenzel.
Alex Bowen gets that move done, but it's going to be Mitch Weatherburn.
He's going to cross the line first.
That's all we're going to say. We're not going to say he wins this race. He has crossed the line first. Congratulations, Mitch Weatherburn. Zachary James from dead bloody last, if you don't mind, will be P1 on the board, but Kyle Jackson's P1. Jeremy Washington's P1 on the board. There, Jezza! Goodness me, this table's not over yet. There's still plenty of action to happen during the week in the stewards box, but goodness me, Jeremy Washington from P17. Zachary James from P19. Goodness me, there's some big results there. Thomas Riley, what have we witnessed?
On the screen, Zachary James came up with a 5-second extra penalty for not serving a penalty.
Oh,
what is going on?
Good luck to the stewards on Tuesday night. Bugger me. Jeremy Washington. Give us some love. Woohoo! What a result for that man. That's what you get for not having penalties and keeping it clean. He has come from P17 after binning it in qualifying and takes home the win here in round 9, tier 1. Wowee, what a result that is. Goodness me, what a night we've had. Tier 2. I didn't think tier 1 was going to top tier 2, but I have been proven wrong. From P17, Jeremy Washington is your winner. Kyle Jackson currently P2. Kenneth Ang currently P3. That's a great result from P9. Alex Bowen, Zachary James, Zachary Smith. I won't read them all out to you because, as I said, there's going to be many, many happenings.
Nathan Munks for the fastest lap, though. 23.2, if you don't mind.
He will hold on to those points. They are all his. You can't deny that. 23.2 from Nathan's very impressive.
He's almost the second faster than anyone else.
Jez is in chat. Get around him.
Get around him.
Congratulations, mate, from P17. That is a massive result. All the way down to a couple of DNFs. Unfortunately, there's plenty of penalties as well to sort through. Goodness me. Absolute drama. Scenes. Wowee. Catch your breath, chat. What a night of racing we've had. As I said, I didn't think we could top tier 2, but tier 1 came out and said, hold my beer. Wowee.
Absolutely ridiculous. What another night.
I don't really know how to send us off after that because, as I said, it's not over yet. Join the Discord, get around the stewards, find out what the hell's happened, and lend them a cup of tea. Goodness me, they've got a lot of work to do. We're off to Brazil next week.
We have 3 rounds to go. Brazil, Portugal, Belgium.
It's another super sprint round next week, and they are always very exciting as well. And Brazil is a fan favourite. It's a very nice track to drive. It's a very flowing, beautiful middle sector and a very long straight with plenty of overtakes on that DRS straight. So a super sprint round with a reverse top 10, that's going to be all sorts of spicy next week. But until then...
Important to note this week as well, our sprint series in ACC.
Yes, get in the sprint series.
Return to Paul Ricard. Haven't raced there since July last year, I think it was, for the 8-hour endurance special event. But will be very good. It's a normal 60-minute race.
Tell you what else we've got coming up this month is the Bathurst 12-hour. The 12 hours of Bathurst. If you're not excited for that, what are you doing? Get out from under your rock. If you haven't signed up for it, get a team together. There's still time. Put some laps in. Choose a car. Bathurst, 12 hours. Massive, massive weekend. 2 or 3 support races, I think. It's all happening in OOR this month. Get around it. But for tonight, I need to literally go and lie down because goodness me, I'm stuffed. What a night.
Crack yourself a beer.
There it is.
Loud as Howard, we will have a beer for you. Well done, mate.
There's your details. Big night, big weekend on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's all happening. But for now, I'm going to pack it in. Thomas Riley, thank you very much for joining me once again.
Thank you very much, JC.
Chat, MVP performance from you, chat. You were there all night. We couldn't have done it without you. We'll see you next week.
Bye.